Okay, good to be back locally. I feel like I haven't taken a break, but Robert and Lucas are back from vacation. We've got an abbreviated week of shows to do, but we're happy to be with you on this Monday for the next 3 hours. Titans lose. Vandy and Tennessee have their bowl games this week. One right down the road from us here on West End. And you have the Music City Bowl between Tennessee and Illinois, which I guess all three of us are going to go to. Do we have confirmation on that? Are we going to participate? Apparently, it's all you can eat, all you can drink, which is all Robert needed to hear to be in on a Tennessee game.
Seems like it's trending in that direction.
All right, very good. So if you're at the Music City Bowl, perhaps we will see you there. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to get in. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is how you get involved via the F&M Bank chat. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is where you can interact throughout the course of the show today, where Robert Walsh is being greeted with many congratulations about your Ravens. You got Titans fans rooting for you. Does it feel good?
It
feel good, bud?
It does feel good. I had the super duperest weekend you could ever imagine.
You did.
East Carolina laying the smackdown on Pitt. Even the bogus calls be damned. ECU pulling it out in the military go bowling bowl game. The Ravens making it happen.
Derrick Henry, man.
Derrick was awesome.
Vintage.
Derrick was awesome. Malik Willis was awesome, and it started a whole mess of revisionist history about how those two things with the Tennessee Titans came to pass, because the Titans can't just have and you know, as somebody who's fairly critical of them on a regular basis, even I was looking around this week and being like, all right, this horse has been dead for years at this point in time. And people are doing imagine if the Titans still had A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, Malik Willis, and Mike Vrabel.
Stupid.
Okay, let's just take a beat there, kids. Titans lose yesterday, and, I mean, it was really just...
A tale of two halves.
They blew it in the second half. The defense was just bad in the second half of that game. And Cam Ward had some highlight reel plays. He had some misses, and that's just kind of the standard experience. We can agree that the Titans have probably hit their ceiling. Yes, I mean, there's only one game left to go, but we've probably seen the best of it. We've certainly seen the worst of it. Like, it's not going to get any worse than it has throughout the course of the season. But yesterday was just kind of, okay. So they did a couple of nice things. They're still scoring at a higher rate, at a considerably higher rate, which I have some numbers on for you a little later in the show to make you feel, I guess, better about the fact that they're at least threatening some of these teams. Saints just won 4 in a row. They went undefeated in the month of December. So you're playing, ironically enough, one of the NFL's hottest teams, and they didn't look like it for the first half, but they certainly came back around with 24 points in the second half and just beat the Titans into submission.
Yeah, Titans outgained the Saints 184-92 in the first half. Obviously had that 10-point lead. And then in the second half, the script totally flipped. The Saints had 331 yards of offense in the third and fourth quarters, and Tyler Shuck was just surgical. Titans secondary at this point is just a who's who of guys that no Titans fan could probably pick out of a lineup, right? Especially at corner.
They could yesterday just because Keemon Hall was having no lack of hustle from that guy, but just getting the brakes beat off
having a bad day. Chris Olave was feasting yesterday on the Titans secondary. Tackling was an issue for the Titans defense in the second half. Audric Estime, was that a career game for him, Robert? At 94 yards on the ground for Estime? And
had to be.
Saints are down to like their third running back at this point.
Sure as hell looked like it.
Yeah.
Dude was playing like he hadn't played ever. He had all the energy in the world.
So Cam Ward kind of had the upper hand in the first half, and then Tyler Shuck kind of took it back in the second half.
And the Saints defense has been playing good football leading up to that game, and they were able to kind of clamp down on things. The rushing attack for the Titans evaporated a little bit in the second half of that game, and it was a situation where you look around and say, yeah, that feels about right for a team that's certainly better, but has some glaring issues this offseason to address. And, I think Titans fans would have liked to see them finish the job. I asked Jeff Simmons last night in the postgame if it was just as simple as, did you guys just not finish the way that you wanted to? And basically Jeff summed it up by saying, yeah, simple as that. Just didn't finish the game. And so the streak of no back-to-back wins for the Tennessee Titans franchise extends at least until the year 2026. So 3 full seasons since they have won back-to-back regular season NFL games. I have the number of days that have passed that I can find for you at some point if you care about such things, but you understand that you will not have the opportunity to stack wins for the rest of the season because there's only one game left.
Shout out to Chimere Dike, who did something cool, is now the all-time leader, the record holder for a rookie in all-purpose yardage, passing Gale Sayers and Tim Brown, which is pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Also, Cam Ward, the first rookie quarterback to pass for over 3,000 yards.
There were a few of those milestones yesterday. Tony
Titans
Pollard.
history?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was about to say.
And Titans his first in general since Tannehill in 2021, so it's been 4 years. Tony Pollard goes over 1,000 for the 4th straight year in his career. Chikakonkwo, career high, 558 receiving yards going into next weekend. Only the 6th tight end in franchise history to cross 2,000 career receiving yards.
So the reason that Cam is a 3,000-yard passer is because he hasn't missed a snap. Where Malik Willis and Tyler Huntley are playing in Saturday Night Football, which ended up being a really fun game for a couple of different reasons, and where backup quarterbacks are all over the place in the NFL, Cam Ward, and I looked this up to double-check while we were doing the Fox show this weekend, he's the only quarterback to have played 100% of his team's offensive snaps this year.
Yes, we said that multiple times last week.
Yes, and so he continues to be the only player that has played 100% of his team's offensive snaps. Now, there are players that have been pulled because their teams are up, and you give the backup quarterback some reps, so maybe Trevor Lawrence could have played 100% of the snaps so far this season, or maybe, I don't know, has Drake May missed any time for injury so far this year? I don't believe so. He's been in and out of the game.
They pulled him before the start of the 4th quarter because it was an absolute ass-kicking at MetLife Stadium. They honestly could have pulled him at halftime. The Patriots were running it up on the Jets. So I don't think Drake May's missed any time due to injury, but Dobbs has gotten in maybe for a series or so when May is getting checked or because it is a lopsided score in favor of the Patriots.
So there's some context around it, but it's still impressive because he's still the most sacked quarterback in football, Cam Ward, and for him not to have missed, I know that's dried up a little bit. He's been better protected. He's also, not yesterday. He was holding onto the football for damn near 5 seconds. A drop back yesterday. It was outrageous. Some of the plays that he was able to extend and some of the plays that he made and some of the plays that he missed. But still, for him to be that kind of durable and to be able to have that be his, that's been his superpower so far this season. Beyond just some of the playmaking that excites you, the fact that he's out there for every snap is really, really impressive. So to his credit, he continues to be as tough as you could have hoped.
And he's not taking a ton of hits at this point in the year. Pass protection has taken a pretty big jump here in these last couple of weeks.
We got Robert.
On the May snaps. So according to PFR, Josh Dobbs has taken 6 snaps this year.
Okay.
At quarterback. A 1 in the Titans game. So I can't remember if Drake May got knocked out and had to go get evaluated for an injury or what.
I think he got pulled, didn't he? Weren't they up by a considerable margin?
That could be it too. He only threw 1 pass.
No, I think May was getting checked for something. If he got pulled, then Dobbs would have gotten more than 1 snap, unless Dobbs just got into victory formation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think he might have been out there for the final series or something like that.
Jeffrey Simmons, double-digit sacks for the first time in his career.
He was great again yesterday. I thought that he may have forced a fumble that caused an early turnover in favor of the Titans. The Saints ultimately ended up retaining possession on that game, on that drive, and Jeff. Jeff's just been awesome. He's been awesome all year long. We've said that a million times over, but the fact that he missed a couple of games, as many games as he's missed since his rookie season, consecutively, dealing with that hammy injury that he experienced, I believe that was also during the Patriots game. And then for him to come back, he hasn't looked like he missed a beat at all. And with a soft tissue injury, you're never sure or never certain whether or not that will reoccur for him. But to Jeff Simmons' credit, he's just been a certified badass all season long when he's been available to play. So it's a season where moral victories don't buy you anything in the NFL, really. But for a team like the Titans, it is moral. The season is a season of moral victories.
That's all you have at this point, right?
That's completely fair to look at it.
You
that
fired
way.
your coach 6 weeks into the season. At that point, all you have left, especially once you're officially eliminated, are moral victories, especially with such a young team and so many rookies to build around that are literally moving this thing forward this year.
And I will say this, because I think I did this segment while the two of you were gone last week, but for as much heat as people like me or anybody else have given Amy Adams Strunk for her decision making and her erraticism and the way that I think in part she's cratered her franchise, she was right in firing Brian Callahan. She was right to not stick to the plan, because they are an infinitely better football team without Brian Callahan than they were with him. We were talking about it yesterday on the pregame show with Zach and Blaine, and the way that I categorized it with the difference between Mike McCoy and Brian Callahan, and not trying to disrespect Brian Callahan this way, even though it might sound like it just feels like with Mike McCoy, whether or not you are excited by him, like the adults are in the room and they know how to handle the situation and they're going to get through. And they've honestly accomplished the kind of growth that was not being accomplished for the first 6 weeks with a rookie quarterback and a football team and discipline and operational issues and all manner of stuff that shouldn't have happened as frequently as it was. So for as much crap as Amy gets, and a lot of it deserved, she was right on the Brian Callahan thing.
I mean, they're still outmanned, right? Like they were with Brian Callahan at the helm, but they just look like a professional operation, which...
Oh, they're a threat now. I think they're a legit threat. Like, yeah, they're going to lose more often than they win, but they just pushed a team that's won 4 consecutive games. They just won 2 of their last 4, which is something that, for as bad as this franchise has been, is not something that you can just take for granted. And they're scoring 3 touchdowns offensively per game, which is sure as hell not something that they were doing for the vast majority of the season. So they are at least threatening teams, even if they're not good enough to actually get the job done at the end. All right. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in if you would like to weigh in on the performance of Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans yesterday. The question that I will ask you is this: which of the 2 rookie quarterbacks, because it's only the 3rd time that we've seen rookie quarterbacks or teams quarterbacked by rookies go head-to-head, was yesterday. Which rookie quarterback is having the better season? Is it Cam Ward or is it Tyler Shuck? We'll talk about it next. Nothing worse than a plumbing, electrical, or HVAC emergency at the time of year when you're probably doing a lot of hosting. That's what Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical is here to help you with, should you experience one of these emergencies at any time of the year. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed correctly or if someone is just trying to sell you something. That's when you call Hiller. The price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. There's no hidden fees or surprises on your bill. Book online now at happyhiller.com because they've been in business for over 35 years, are family-owned and operated, and are incredibly trustworthy. Their techs are professional and experienced, and when they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time so you don't waste any time waiting around. 100% satisfaction guarantee of happy you'll be, or the service is free. That's the Happy Hiller promise. So as I mentioned, book online today at happyhiller.com.
So only 3 times this season have we seen a matchup of rookie quarterback versus rookie quarterback. Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders, Tyler Shuck versus Brady Cook, and Cam Ward versus Tyler Shuck. Welcome back. We're presented by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Let it fuel your watch parties this week for a loaded week. One of the last ones that we have in the 2025 season, certainly in the 2025 calendar year. So between, let's just keep it to Shedeur Sanders, Tyler Shuck, and Cam Ward, in those rookie-on-rookie matchups, who has stuck out the most between those 3? Like the neutral viewer, before we get into the specifics of yesterday's Shuck versus Ward matchup, who would the neutral viewer, you think, be most impressed with based on those games? Cam versus Shedeur and Shuck versus Cam.
Based on the games themselves?
Yeah.
If you're talking about actual full games, I think objectively, most people would say Tyler Shuck. He's had 2 300-yard passing games. He has just led his team to an undefeated month for only, I think it's the second or third time in Saints franchise history that they've gone a full month without losing a game. He seems to be in command of his situation. He seems to elevate his team. Now, I will say if you're going off highlight reel plays, if you're just scrolling Twitter and you see, oh my God, Cam Ward did what? Then Cam Ward. If you're just if you're a Twitter analyst or a Twitter football consumer, then I would assume that you would think that Cam Ward has been the more impressive player because Cam Ward has more highlight reel throws. I mean, the incompletion or the completion that was called a completion to Tajay Spears late in the game that was ultimately overturned because Cam's knee was down. Honest to God, I think you should just give it to him.
That was awesome.
That was sick. He's basically parallel to the ground. And how the hell he gets that ball off, 1, at all, 2, with any kind of accuracy, and 3, which would have been, had it counted, a conversion on, what was it, 4th and 10? That was disgusting.
Now, yeah, it was 4th and 10. It was a 4th and 11, maybe, a 17-yard pickup that would have put the ball right on the cusp of the red zone during that late push. And got called back. So it's funny because about midway through the season, that would have been Jackson Dart with kind of the highlight reel plays.
Agreed.
Largely in the run game, the quarterback scramble game. But Dart's stock has kind of gone down as he continues to put himself in precarious positions and gets checked for a concussion seemingly every other play. So I do think Cam has taken that, like the eye-popping highlight reel, wow, how did he just do that plays, have come much more frequently here in the last month, but Tyler Shuck has probably been more consistent as a passer. Now, Shuck does have Chris Olave, and yesterday had the luxury of throwing to, cornerbacks that would be what? Practice squatters on most other NFL rosters, but because the Titans cornerback room has devolved the way that it has due to trades and injuries and whatnot, even Jalen Armour Davis leaves the game carted off with an Achilles injury. Hard to imagine he plays next week as they finish out the regular season. So I think...
No, Mike McCoy said yesterday that both he and Van Jefferson are done for the year.
Marcus Harris obviously done for the year. He's placed on injured reserve. So Tyler Shuck, I think, had the more advantageous situation to play with yesterday with the defense he was facing and Chris Olave being his number one target. But there's no question he, especially in these last 2 weeks, he has been very impressive, Tyler Shuck. Saints fans should be excited about what Tyler Shuck can be as their starting quarterback.
Well, I was going through some texts earlier in the week, and did I bring up this thing that was written in New Orleans about just in like their game book or something like that by Jeff Duncan? You guys know Jeff Duncan? He's been covering the New Orleans Saints for 100 years. Somebody sent me the start of his column in recent weeks. This was after they beat the Panthers a couple of weeks ago before they went on to win 4 straight. This column starts with Tyler Shuck is him. If you didn't know it before Sunday, you know it now. The New Orleans Saints have their quarterback. Shuck is the guy for the present, the future, and everything in between. If anyone doubted Shuck's credentials as the team's franchise quarterback, they were eliminated once and for all after the rookie quarterback authored another dramatic come-from-behind victory on Sunday. So this was after they beat the Bucs and the Panthers. And then since then, they've beaten who? The Jets and the Titans. en route to winning those 4 straight games, I believe, if I have their schedule
that's
correct.
it. Bucks, Panthers, Jets, Titans. He actually has 2 wins over the Panthers.
Yeah.
So they've swept Carolina with Tyler Shuck playing quarterback, and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in both of those games combined. He's been really good.
So that part of Jeff Duncan's article was sent to me with the context of, has anybody written or said anything as definitively about Cam Ward as is being written about Tyler Shuck in New Orleans? And I had to think about it for a second, and I said, no, probably not that definitive, like Cam Ward is him for now, forever, and always, basically.
I mean, I don't know. What were we hearing from the Dan Orlovskis and Kurt Benkerts of the world?
No, locally. Like people that cover the team on a day-to-day basis, not just like dropping in, swooping in, and being like, wow, this guy's going to be special if all the right things happen. Jeff Duncan's a local guy, watching him every day, every practice, every press conference, and the question was posed to me on a local level, has anybody in Nashville been as definitive about Cam Ward as they are being in New Orleans about Tyler Shuck? And I believe the answer is no.
Yeah, I suppose if you're talking about the beat that's there every day, I think there are multiple Titans fans that have seen enough from Cam to be very excited.
Oh, sure.
About what he can be moving forward.
But and some of this, I wonder how often this happens, because I think sometimes we can get too close to it and be nitpicking too much as a local media anywhere, like whether it be, Baltimore or Nashville or, I don't know, New York, whatever the market might be. Like if you're so close to it that you see every little flaw, every misstep, every granular thing that can be discussed and dissected, can you be too critical in those situations? I think sometimes that's true. I don't think it's been the case for the Titans. I don't think that people are too critical of Cam here locally. I think it's about the right amount of critical. He's been up and down in a season where it was going to be tough. The degree of difficulty of the defenses that he's facing is harder than we expected it to be. And the roster has dealt with a fair amount of injury on both sides of the ball that have made it harder than it needed to be. I think that's all fair criticism of Cam.
Well, it's encouraging that the best performances have come in the latter stages of the season. And I do think it's trending to a place where at the end of the year, when you take a snapshot of his rookie season, you'll look at the numbers, and even leaving out all of the context, head coach fired 6 weeks in, Calvin Ridley out for the majority of the season, O-line struggles early, rookies everywhere, I think you'll look at the snapshot of his rookie season and say, yep, that's about right.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, sitting where he is now, a completion percentage of 59.6, 3,117 yards, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And obviously the fumbles were an issue that he, to his credit, has cleaned up. He did have one at the end there where you got to get rid of the ball for the Hail Mary at the end of the game.
Yeah,
he fumbled, picked it up, and then...
That's one of those, like, inexcusable plays.
Yeah. And there's a few of those kind of sprinkled in with the good stuff.
Less lately, though.
Less lately. So I do think you're going to look at a snapshot of his rookie year and say, yeah, that's about right for a rookie quarterback in a bad situation with a fired head coach and a bunch of rookies around him that he's throwing the ball to. Depending on what he does next week, too. We'll see. I mean, they need to show more life against the Jags than they did when Jacksonville came here a few weeks ago.
It's making me laugh because our chat, who is filled with, of course, Titans fans on a regular basis, saying, our local media nitpicks every mistake. Somebody else says, nope, the Nashville local media hates Cam, which I think is ridiculous. Local media are so harsh. Y'all hate the guy, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So you've got extremes on a fan base who desperately needs this guy, wants this guy, and likes this guy to have the kind of success that he may have before he's actually had it. And you've got the opposite side, which is, it's almost like a different version of the Xavier Restrepo effect, where you just get so tired of answering questions about a guy that doesn't really matter in the scope of this thing, to the point where, like, why are you guys so obsessed with this dude? Like, why are you trying to manifest something that actually doesn't matter in a consequential way?
Restrepo catching a stray.
Well, respectfully.
615-737-1045. Ken in Goodlettsville wants to talk rookie quarterbacks. Hey, Ken.
Hey, guys. Happy New Year to you.
You too.
At one time, Shuck was 22 of 25. I don't know what he finished, but I was freaking out. I said, "You're telling me he only had 3 incompletions?" But he seems like he stays in the pocket more. And it's been said about Cam a lot. If they could just get him to stay in the pocket and be a little more disciplined that way, instead of coming out of the pocket and running for your life, and throwing off balance on your back foot or whatever. I just think he's got a great opportunity to be a great quarterback. He just could get polished, more polished. And I think he's going to get those opportunities. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ken. Shuck, by the way, 22 of 27, 333, 2 touchdowns yesterday, a rating of 142.7. Like all of the numbers look really good on Tyler Shuck. Cam Ward, 21 of 40, 251, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a rating of 88.6. His numbers were really impressive, efficient in the first half, even with a couple of misses on open targets, and obviously it slowed in the second.
Yeah, no, and he still has routine misses, Cam Ward, and Tyler Shuck has misses. Like, it's not like these guys aren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
I watched Caleb Williams miss 2 wide-open receivers last night in a great Sunday Night Football game.
That was an excellent game, but some of the Caleb Williams misses are even more weird.
Yeah, but then he'll just throw these dimes. They just are awesome.
I think it's worth noting when at least comparing Shuck and Cam, Shuck was always thought of as a more complete prospect now. Mm-hmm. He's 26 years old.
I was going to say he's like 38.
The dude spent 6 years in college. And while he did play in less games in college than Cam did, most of that due to injury, he was always thought of as the higher floored player. So it does not surprise me that he is outplaying Cam right now at the end of both their rookie seasons, because he was always thought of to be that player, a more complete player right now. Cam always had the higher ceiling. So, and whether they realizes that or not, that's totally up to Cam. But I think that's context that we need to think about when we're comparing both Shuck and Cam.
Oh, no, I was talking about this with Corey Curtis yesterday in the press box. We were sitting pretty close to one another. And I was looking at Shuck and saying, okay, so maybe he's good enough. Like, if the Saints end up going 7-10 this year, that would be a huge accomplishment given where we thought they were.
They play the Falcons. It's very plausible.
That's what I'm saying.
They'll be favored probably in Atlanta.
I think that they could very well end up this season 7-10, which would be a huge accomplishment for a team that you had zero expectations of this year and that started Spencer Rattler over Tyler Shuck. But I looked at Tyler Shuck yesterday, who played a game against a dreadful Titans secondary, and said, all right, so what if his ceiling is 7-10 as a 26-year-old quarterback, and that's like, what if he's Davis Mills? Like, what if he ends up being Davis Mills, which is, you think he's good enough to give you some starts in spots, but he's not good enough to ever be the guy the way that Jeff Duncan or other people in New Orleans are writing about him. Like, what if he ends up just being kind of this? And that's fine to a certain extent. He's a second-round pick. It's a flyer. For Cam, it should never look worse for Cam Ward than it did this season. Yeah. It should never, under any circumstances, there is no excuse for him not improving. And again, linear progression week to week is something that you can debate. But season to season, he should never play a worse season than he did this season. We all agree, yes?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It should be up from here, assuming health. Like we've seen the sophomore dips from quarterbacks that really flashed their rookie years. Health has had a lot to do with that, certainly for a guy like Jaden Daniels. But to Robert's point, like Tyler Shuck right now just is more sound operationally, right? He's cleaner. He's the more consistent quarterback. Cam Ward right now flashes more of those plays that you say, oh, man, if he can string those together and raise his floor with some consistency, then he absolutely is the higher ceiling player. Like, you look at C.J. Stroud's rookie year at Houston, just to pull 2 random young quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud, rookie year at Houston. Caleb Williams, rookie year in Chicago. C.J. Stroud, unquestionably, had the more impressive rookie season. All the numbers were better. They were in the playoffs, winning record, all these things. Who's the higher ceiling player between Stroud and Williams?
Oh, Williams.
It's Caleb Williams by far. I still think that you would say the player with the higher ceiling is Cam Ward with the traits. Yeah. But Tyler Shuck, at this point in time,
he's a better quarterback.
Yeah, he has a higher floor right now in his rookie year. Obviously as a little bit of an older player and in a little bit of a better situation.
And also didn't get thrown out there right away. Like, how many games did Rattler start before Shuck ultimately ended up in the lineup? 5, 6? Because Rattler was still starting. I remember looking up at the Jumbotron in Arizona, waiting for that game to start, and Rattler was still starting against the Giants. So he played 8 games.
He started 9 games.
Shuck has.
He's played in 10. He has started 9.
Okay.
See, I had opposite. I had he's played in 9 games, started 8.
Are you talking about Rattler or Shuck?
Rattler.
Okay. Rattler, so
I'm talking about Shuck.
all right.
I was talking about Rattler.
I understand.
I'm talking about Shuck.
Oh, you were talking about Shuck.
I'm talking about Rattler.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. I am also talking about Rattler.
You're talking about Shuck.
No. Instead of that quarterback, I was talking about the other one. Then you were
talking about Cam. You're talking about Caleb Williams.
Kinda. He lost his job to Caleb Williams. I'm talking about Rattler.
Okay, I'm talking about Shuck.
I want both of you to go back on vacation.
Okay. But you were talking about both of them.
You are
in
so lucky there's 3 foot of glass between us right now. I hate you both so much. Anyway, I think that Tyler Shuck has had the better rookie season. Cam Ward obviously has the higher ceiling as a player. Both franchises should feel good about where they are in the final month of the season. We would agree that the Titans are playing their best football in the month of December.
Yes. Now, up next is, do the Jags get the crown of hottest team in the NFL?
I think they're the best team in the AFC.
I think they're the hottest team in the NFL. They do have the longest active win streak at this point, right? 7 in a row. They beat the Broncos, ended that streak.
They have the tiebreaker over New England if they are actually in play for the 1 seed this weekend.
Very spicy. So you go from kind of an upstart team with a losing record that's having this late season surge with a rookie quarterback to legitimately the hottest team in the NFL pushing for a 1 seed, and you got to go on the road to Jacksonville. So interesting challenge coming up to finish out the season, because it is fair to say the Titans are having their best stretch of the season, of course, but their best performances have come against the Browns and the Saints, and they've been competitive against the likes of the Seahawks and the Niners, and that's good. But can they finish strong against the one team in this recent stretch where they kind of reverted back to what they looked like in the first month or two of the season?
A couple of comments that made me laugh in the FNM Mag chat. Stoney Keeley says Tyler Shuck's knees pop when he gets out of bed in the morning. It's probably so. You think he makes do you guys make the groaning sound when you sit down or when you get into your car?
Yeah,
Yes.
Megan hates it when I do that. It gives her the ick.
Or when I stand up, I'll be like,
I did that the other day. Like, I just kind of plopped down on my couch yesterday after I got home from work, and I made a sound like I was 80 years old. It's like, what is wrong with you? You're 32.
Or when y'all stretch, do y'all do? I used to hate when my dad did this, but you'll hit a good stretch and go like,
Yes, correct. Another comment that made me laugh, Titanomics says Cam is always off script. Because to get back to what the caller was asking, does Cam need to have more pocket discipline? I thought he hung in a pocket way too long yesterday. Like, there were some of these moments where I'm just like, buddy, either take off or get rid of it.
Well, did you see this next-gen stats statistic that he averaged a time to throw of 4.07 seconds yesterday, the longest by any QB in a game in the next-gen stats era, which started in 2016. So pass protection good, but with Cam, it's not to continue to bring up a Mahomes comparison, which has happened a lot with him, but it is kind of that game of how do you ride that line of highlighting those strengths, allowing him to flex that muscle that can make him special while also trying to bring in an element of that discipline and pocket presence, not bailing too early in these things.
Yeah, but to get back to that comment, commenter says, Cam is always off script because of our scheme. You can tell he's playing with an interim head coach. Mike McCoy has done, I'm not going to say an excellent job because they're still a 3-win football team, okay? But Mike McCoy, for as uninterested as you might be in him or as much as you might discount him and the rest of the staff under him, Mike McCoy has stepped in and made Cam Ward. The reason you are playing your best football of the year is not just because Cam Ward took a magical step all of a sudden. Maybe it was always going to happen that way, but the coaching staff deserves some credit for getting things right. Again, getting things to be to the standard of professional football around Cam Ward to allow him to develop and for Cam Ward to develop unto himself. Both things can be true. I'm not saying that Mike McCoy should be the next head coach or anything like that, but I don't discount the job that they've done because it's a huge reason why you're optimistic about your future here.
We were talking about sounds that we make when we get older. You know what my probably top 3 favorite sound is that's ever been made on this radio show? We're going to do it next. State beat Utah State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Louisville beat the Toledo Rockets in the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl 27-22. Western Kentucky, the Tops rolled over Southern Miss in the New Orleans Bowl. Ohio beating UNLV in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Hawaii came back from down 21 to beat California 35-31 in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. Northwestern dominated the Chips of Central Michigan in the Game Above Sports Bowl. Minnesota took it to OT and beat New Mexico in the Rate Bowl. Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. UTSA 57, Florida International 20. The Pop-Tart Bowl, electric. Pop-Tarts were sacrificed. BYU won in comeback fashion 25-21 over Georgia Tech. Virginia held off Missouri 13-7. ACC over SEC in the Tax Slater Gator Bowl. Lane Kiffin left at halftime and Houston beat LSU 38-35 in the Kinder's Texas Bowl.
That's so funny.
The Isleta, New Mexico Bowl, North Texas 49, San Diego State 47. Roberts ECU Pirates over Pittsburgh 23-17 in the Go Bowling Military Bowl. Penn State over Clemson in the Disappointment Bowl, a.k.a. the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Army dominated UConn 41-16 in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, which is not sponsored by the condiment. Fresno State 18, Miami of Ohio 3 in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl.
What was the score of that?
18-3.
And what did you...
18-3?
The second game you did.
They just kicked a bunch of field goals.
What was the score of the second game that you read?
The very second game I read, I believe, was Louisville 27, Toledo 22.
And what was the fifth score that you read?
ECU 23, Pittsburgh 17.
Yeah.
9 wins for your Pirates.
Ooh, no quarterback, no
quarterback.
OC, no DC, no running back, no wide receiver, no problem. Shut them down. Open up shop. Stop. I think I did that out of order.
Yeah, you did.
The Pop-Tarts Bowl was everything I hoped it would be. I am in awe of it. To me, in an age where college football trends more and more towards the playoff system and is sanitized more into a professional sports model, the Pop-Tarts Bowl, although new and not this long-standing tradition, feels like it is a beacon, a symbol of what college football used to be. When 99% of college football games, for the majority of our lives, for the majority of the time college football has been a thing, 99% of those games had nothing to do with the national championship picture. And the Pop-Tarts Bowl is a beautiful callback to that, where we all sit down with our families. We gather around, everybody wearing their new Christmas clothes, eating cookies, drinking hot cocoa, and watching the Pop-Tart sacrifice after the game as BYU eats the human Pop-Tart and celebrates after beating Georgia Tech in Orlando. It's a beautiful thing.
How are they going to one-up this every year? Like, the Pop-Tart Bowl has become a spectacle because of the Pop-Tart spectacle. Again, the marketing people and promotions people for the brand of Pop-Tarts are working overtime as hell. I don't even think Pop-Tarts are that good.
No,
But like
stop that.
No. Like Pop-Tarts are good if they're like, you know, you go to one of these bakeries or coffee shops, you get a homemade Pop-Tart. Not like the packaged Pop-Tarts.
Oh, I have a hot take. I think the packaged Pop-Tarts are better than 90% of the homemade Pop-Tarts that I've had.
Your logic being?
The ratio is usually off. I think the crust and like filling ratio, I think, is perfect on the packaged Pop-Tarts.
I will hear you on that only because it feels like there's so much crust and then there's just a giant bubble of filling in the homemade Pop-Tarts that feels a bit excessive. Like you almost have to eat it like you would one of these slices of pizza where you take a bite of the pizza proper first and then you take a bite of the crust to kind of even out how much pizza and sauce you just had.
Have you guys seen, and this is how I think they will continue to advance the Pop-Tart Bowl, have you guys seen their ice cream sandwiches?
I heard about them, what was that, Saturday?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
This rocked my world.
So it is 2 Pop-Tarts with an ice cream sandwich, ice cream slab in between with different flavors. You can get chocolate, you can get brown cinnamon sugar, you can get frosted strawberry, but it is actually 2 frosted Pop-Tarts. So I think next year you could have the Pop-Tarts ice cream bowl, and it's like which Pop-Tart ice cream will be melted down so the winning team can drink their life blood.
No. You could do it like a telenovela or like a soap opera or something like that. Like the ice cream could be the Pop-Tarts love interest. All of a sudden they're in a love triangle. and you have to figure out, like, you got, we don't want to turn it into
then it just
a sexually explicit Pop-Tart situation.
Yeah,
but
the days of our tarts.
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's
Pop-Tarts are swinging.
This has legs here, okay?
Pineapple flavored Pop-Tarts.
Pineapple flavored.
Oh.
Like that one neighborhood in Franklin that people talk about all the time.
How is there not a pineapple flavored Pop-Tart? There's so many. This just had me watching the Pop-Tart Bowl. I was just scrolling through all these Pop-Tart flavors I haven't tried. I haven't tried confetti cupcake. I've never had Applejack Pop-Tarts, Snickerdoodle.
Applejack, like the
cereal.
I don't think I've ever had
Applejacks were elite. Cherry, my favorite. Anybody else?
No, blueberry.
Yeah, blueberry's mine too.
But the Pop-Tarts Bowl delivered. It really did. BYU, Georgia Tech, BYU, believing they were left out of the playoff unjustly. They get the win. Haynes King's time at Georgia Tech comes to an end. There were some great games, man. Penn State, Clemson. The fact that they were playing in the Pinstripe Bowl. Shout out to Kate Klubnik, who played in this game. And Penn State ends up getting to 7 wins under interim coach Terry Smith. And then the Lane Kiffin thing kind of took over on Saturday.
Now, wait. Don't gloss over the Clemson of it all.
What, the disappointment of it all?
They were the
7-6?
national championship betting favorite for a good portion of the college football offseason.
Yeah, and Penn State wasn't that far behind.
I understand. Who is a more disappointing program at the end of the season, at the end of their season? Is it Clemson or is it Penn State? Because I have to think it's Clemson. I have to think that Clemson had the biggest fall from grace. I have to think that Clemson fans, because Penn State fans, whether you like James Franklin or you didn't like James Franklin, at least you got some blood out of it. Like, you got rid of the coach, even if that may not be the way that it happened may not be perfect, but Penn State ended up okay. Clemson fans are probably looking around at Dabo being like, really, again with this guy?
Yeah, and Penn State, I think, landed with a pretty good coach after a bit of a disjointed search, I would say. Yeah, between the two, Clemson, I think you would say the more disappointing. They're pretty neck and neck, though, man. Like, this was the year for Penn State. The year of the James Franklin era. So that's why I'm holding back on saying Clemson is the more disappointing team. 2025 had this feel of, okay, you're coming off a semifinal appearance. You went out and paid a bunch of money for Trebor Pena, the receiver out of Syracuse. Drew Aller is running it back. And it felt like the Franklin era at Penn State was supposed to culminate with the 2025 season. And it all came crashing down. But you did get blood out of it. And you got some sort of closure in that era is officially over. Clemson fans do not have that sort of closure. So I will go with it because of that fact, that there is still this feeling of purgatory. What are we for the Clemson fan base right now under Dabo Swinney?
And if you're talking about it broadly, though, and not just this year under a microscope, I would say Penn State, because outside of 2023, Clemson has not had a non-double-digit win season since 2010. They have finished with double-digit wins every year.
Really?
Except for 2023, they had 9 wins since 2010. So it's like, okay, if I'm a Clemson fan and you want to have some perspective, I would be like, okay, we were due. Every once in a while, you got to stink. You got to sit on the bench that some homeless man was just sitting on. It's your time. It's your time to sit on the bench. But if you're saying this year under a microscope, I would agree with you. I just think Clemson has enjoyed success for a while, and maybe it was time for them to stub their toe a little bit.
I guess I just look at Clemson through the prism of what you did prior to NIL and transfer portal and modern era college football doesn't matter to me anymore. Like, I get that it matters and the program will always have those championships and those great seasons, great successful seasons and playoff appearances and what have you, but he has to adapt to the modern era of college football, and everything Dabo Swinney in the last, 4 years of college football has been wholly unimpressive.
To wrap it up, obviously Tennessee plays tomorrow in the Music City Bowl. Vanderbilt plays Wednesday in the ReliaQuest Bowl. But today there is a little bit of bowl action. The J-Lab Birmingham Bowl. Georgia Southern against a 5-7 App State team at 1 o'clock. So cherish it, folks.
What is J-Lab? We have 2 people who are fool enough to slander the existence of bowl games that are not college football playoff related, to which I would say, why do you want less football?
Just don't watch it then.
Well, they're saying they're not, but it's one of those things like the people that don't watch the NBA Cup bitching about the NBA Cup, or like the people that don't watch the WNBA bitching about the WNBA. Yeah. Like, it's okay. Just move on with your day.
You'll be all right.
615-737-1045 is the number. We'll get to your phone calls And we will also talk about one of the most epic collapses you've ever seen in NFL history coming up next.
11:01, good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Down studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans fell to the Saints in the final home game of the season, 34-26 Sunday. After leading 20-10 at the half, the Saints went on a 24-6 run in the second half to win a fourth consecutive game and drop the Titans to 3-13. Cam Ward, 21 of 40, 251 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Titans will wrap up the season next week in Jacksonville. That game is officially a noon kickoff on Sunday. Meanwhile, the NFL playoff picture is taking shape. Sunday Night Football was a shootout in San Francisco. 49ers 42, Bears 38. And San Francisco at 12-4 is a win away from being the number 1 seed in the NFC. The LA Rams still in contention for that number 1 seed. They are 11-4 tonight at the Atlanta Falcons, who are eliminated. That is the Monday Night Football matchup kicking off at 7:15. Rams at Falcons. You can hear it right here on 104.5 The Zone, courtesy of Westwood One. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
There has not been many more epic collapses in NFL history than what has happened to the Indianapolis Colts this season. We're going to get back to the Titans. We're going to get back to Bowl Mania. We'll talk some college football playoff throughout the course of the show. Robert, Lucas, and me with you till 1 o'clock. Ben Jones is off on vacation at the beach, so we appreciate Ben's time all season long. Brett Kern will be with us, Titans legend of the game yesterday, Brett Kern. I heard he crushed it. I actually got up at halftime or at the start of the second quarter, so I didn't see his performance, but I heard it was great. So we'll talk about the NFL with Brett Kern here in just a little bit. But for the start that they had to the season, 8-2, to the way that they have since lost 6 straight in Indianapolis, traded multiple first-round picks for corner Sauce Gardner, who went from one miserable team in the Jets to another team who's been, 0-6 down the stretch here of late. Sauce Gardner probably not feeling great as he works his way back from this injury that's cost him a couple of games after being traded from the Jets to the Colts. You've got an embattled general manager. Would we call Chris Ballard embattled? He seems to have more job security than anybody in professional football. He and John Robinson got hired the same year. He's still there, which is crazy, given their missteps at quarterback from Anthony Richardson to Matt Ryan to Nick Foles, all the other things that they've done in the absence of Andrew Luck. Should Chris Ballard be fired in Indianapolis for the way that the Colts have completely fallen apart and kind of forsaken their future?
I have a hard time looking at this as though it was some kind of big choke job. I have a really hard time with that. And I am perfectly happy to sit back and watch the Colts' demise to go from contending for the 1 seed in the AFC to not even in the postseason with a game still to go in the regular season. But watching how it unfolded, Daniel Jones breaks his leg and then pops his Achilles. Mm-hmm. Sauce Gardner got hurt after that trade. And then your backup quarterback / top 5 pick has an orbital bone fracture that occurred during a pregame warm-up in a freak situation.
From a workout band.
To where you either had Riley Leonard, who also was injured a couple weeks ago, or Phillip Rivers off the couch that honestly has come in and played valiantly over these last couple of games. Is there an argument to be made that the Chris Ballard era can just be done in Indy and you want to hit the reset button? Sure. But I'm not going to sit here and say that Chris Ballard was the Colts' undoing this year and the entire organization choked away the opportunity to be one of the top seeds in the AFC. It was horrid, rotten luck stemming from quarterback injury that was just a weight around the Colts' ankles for the second half of the year.
But I guess my argument would be for the firing of Chris Ballard is he probably should have been fired before this, because now what is their future? He's directly responsible for their future, too. Their quarterback situation has no future Are you going to retain Daniel Jones? I mean, hell, you may not be worse off for keeping Phillip Rivers around at 45 years old.
He shot that down yesterday. He's like, no, I'm done.
He's 0-3, but damned if he's not fighting for it out there. God love him.
I mean, you wouldn't want to talk to that dude and be like, hey, if we re-sign Daniel Jones, he may need like a little buffer for the first 3 weeks of the season. You don't want to come back and play like the first 3 weeks of the season and try to get us a win, dude.
He definitely has the most interesting quarterback conundrum, I would say, in the NFL going into this year.
Self-made, though, because he missed on Richardson, because they missed on multiple veteran stopgaps that they tried to plug and play in the absence and the retirement of Andrew Luck.
It's just crazy how these things flip, right? Because I agree with you. Nothing you're saying is incorrect, but it's crazy how it goes from Chris Ballard has rescued this. He has salvaged this by landing the next quarterback reclamation project in Daniel Jones, who's having a phenomenal year. The Colts, if I'm not mistaken, are still like a top 5 scoring offense in the NFL based on what they did while Jones was healthy.
On aggregate from the start of the season, yeah.
Like if you're to look at scoring offense rankings now, they were definitely top 5 going into the weekend. They probably still are. I can pull it up. But it's crazy that it goes from Chris Ballard has salvaged this situation and they can pay Daniel Jones and he'll be the next Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold too, because Daniel Jones went down, which is no fault of Chris Ballard's. This is a situation of his own making.
Daniel Jones was also not playing the same level of football prior to the injury that he was at the very start of the season. Like that had started to lose some of its luster. And you again, I think that's fair to say, well, defenses are adapting and adjusting in real time during the season.
They've dropped to 7th, by the way. The Colts are the number 7 scoring offense, averaging 27.3 points per game.
So I think, though, Lucas, my situation or my perspective on Chris Ballard is that person put you in a situation that he had to then bail himself out of. He did not save their season necessarily. He saved his own skin for a period of time, because what was the biggest change that happened to the Indianapolis Colts this year?
Say again?
The biggest change, what are you excited about?
Don't worry about it. We're going to be in the building tomorrow afternoon.
Woo!
At the Liberty Bibberty Music City. Excited. We just got some confirmation.
Hey, and what's the best part about it?
Free booze.
And all the dogs you can eat. All the dogs you can eat.
I think you're going to test that theory. I think at a certain point, somebody with the Music City Bowl is going to come up to you and be like, sir, you cannot have a 45th hot dog.
How many hot dogs? Can we put this as a poll tomorrow on the show? How many hot dogs will Burt eat at the Music City Bowl?
Shout out to the Titans Radio Suite.
Very excited. Very excited.
You didn't want to go.
I did, well, until I found out that it's bring your dog to work day, and Bert is going to be in there. Do you think they'll have toppings, or if they're only going to be plain?
I hope there's no food in that suite.
Shut up. No, you don't. You would love that.
I don't care. I wouldn't eat it anyway.
To watch me starve.
We could go downstairs, get some Hattie B's, too.
We could. And, that's my favorite cheat that I've started doing is I'll just text Nick Bishop and be like, hey,
hey, big head.
I don't really want the chicken fingers that they have in the press box at halftime. Can I come get a sandwich?
I don't know if this is news to interrupt our regularly scheduled programming here, but
about us and our food consumption.
Marcus Freeman has just tweeted, 2026, run it back, go Irish.
Listen, if he was going to get a job, he would have had one by now in the NFL. That's not a real thing. Didn't Fitzy bring that up with us last week? Any team could have interviewed him. Any team could have interviewed him or Mike McCarthy. There's no rules around the interview process for them. Nobody has to wait to interview Marcus Freeman. I'm gonna guess here that Marcus Freeman's agent wants his name out there at some point in the cycle, and it's good for Marcus Freeman, and it harms absolutely nothing. And if it ends up getting him a raise, then that's all good too. So Marcus Freeman not going to be the coach of the Giants or the Titans or anything else, because he's going to be the coach of Notre Dame, and he's probably going to do it with a bigger paycheck. So just to put a bow on this conversation, so you don't think there's a world in which Chris Ballard gets fired this year, where the Jags look like the best team in the AFC?
Oh, no, there's a world. Yeah.
Where the Texans are suspect, but that defense isn't. The Titans at least have an answer at quarterback, they think, for the immediate future. And the Colts just traded 2 first-round picks for a corner that hasn't made a difference, and their quarterback situation is again in flux. I think he should be fired. And I think the biggest change to happen to the Colts this year was Jim Irsay dying, unfortunately, and Carly Gordon Irsay stepping into that role to reevaluate everything with the organization. If I was her, I'd look around and be like, you're the reason why we're in this situation in the first place. You're the reason that there is not long-term stability. Appreciate your work here, but it's time.
It's a good time to hit the reset button. But how attractive is this job right now? Suddenly, how attractive is the Colts job when you don't have a quarterback plan in place? You don't have a first-round pick, neither this year nor next year.
Multiple. It's not a good job.
It's not a good GM job right now. I mean, what's the best thing that you have going for you if you are a candidate to be the GM of the Colts? What is the most attractive thing about that job?
What's their cap situation look like? I don't think they're super expensive.
Not sure off the top of my head. Jonathan Taylor's still there. He's still only 26 years old.
That's outrageous.
Going to be 27 in January.
DeForest Buckner, they just put on injured reserve again with is he dealing with a neck injury? They just shut him down for the year. I can't remember what the injury was. There are things there. I mean, hell, you may not even have Lou Anarumo is going to interview for head coaching jobs, the defensive coordinator who's helped prop them up on that side of the ball this season. Colts are not a good job. For any reason, I don't think Steichen would get fired. I mean, maybe Steichen is the most attractive element of that because we think Shane Steichen's a good coach, right?
Yeah, I think he's a good coach.
I think Shane Steichen's a good coach. So maybe the attractive nature of, well, that guy can win with Daniel Jones and Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson or whatever. We give him a real quarterback situation. Maybe he actually gets some juice. I mean, you're not in a position to trade for a quarterback, certainly. Should, I don't know, Kyler Murray become available or whatever that looks like this offseason. At some point, Robert, I want to ask you about that hit piece the Baltimore Sun put out about Lamar Jackson.
If you ever need to know anything that was written by Baltimore media, if it was written by the Baltimore Sun, they are crapping on the Ravens. Everyone over there, Kyle Goon, Mike Preston, they hate the Ravens. So anything that they put out is going to be tinged that way. Just so you know, for your future.
No, because we talked about it on Fox, and then Lamar got ruled out in the middle of it, in the middle of the show on Saturday. And we were talking about the idea, is there any scenario in which Lamar Jackson is not with the Ravens next year, which, of course, I think is ridiculous.
If there was a scenario where that happened, it would have nothing to do with him staying up all night gaming, and I'm doing air quotes because these are all alleged.
We'll talk about it more tomorrow.
Cool.
For sure.
You don't want to talk about it now?
I don't want you to, exhaust yourself now. I can see you start to work up, and it's 11:13.
It was never a problem when he was winning 2 MVPs.
Take a break.
Well, hold on.
No, not an actual break. I meant you. Take a breather.
I think a moment of silence for Phillip Rivers, who is not dead, but who we will never see play another snap as a quarterback in the National Football League. Very disrespectful.
What?
It's in a moment of silence.
We're doing a radio show.
Moment of silence.
Aren't there fines for that?
It can't be more than 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It needs to be under 15 seconds.
All right, starting now.
Good night, sweet prince. He is bowing out. He is stepping back into retirement. Said, you got it, Riley Leonard, for the last game of the year.
His body probably hurts.
Yeah. But Phillip Rivers smashed any expectation of him coming in, right? This man threw for 277 yards in a game and 2 touchdowns at the ripe age of 44 years old after not playing in the NFL for 5 years.
I love him.
We should always appreciate what we saw from Phillip Rivers these last 3 games.
If you're hating on Phillip Rivers, you're just a hater. Like, Phillip Rivers is delightful. He as a Charger, as a Colt, whatever the case may be, he was excellent, even though he was 0-3. But it was excellent. 615-737-1045 is the number. Dave is in Mount Juliet.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Thanks for taking my call. You can see the Titans are improving, but I definitely want to put out there that we need to keep our special teams coach no matter what. They have improved immensely. And I remember what it was before, so we do not need to lose that guy. I wanted y'all's opinion on that.
Well, yeah. No, I think that's that would be glaringly obvious to anybody. I mean, John Fossil is well known. He's got a long established reputation and career of being a difference maker as a special teams coach. And just good for morale in the building. Like, there are a few people who have as much just genuine energy and joy in what they do as that guy. So, yeah, I think it will be and should be strongly suggested by the people doing the hiring with the Titans right now of the next coach. And maybe you don't bring in an entirely new staff. Maybe this guy sticks around.
Joey Sly broke a record yesterday.
Which record was that?
Which, with his 8th and 9th field goal from 50-plus, he passes Steven Gostkowski for the most in a single season in franchise history. 50-plus yard field goals.
Titans legend. What's next?
The race for the number one pick, is heating up. And we'll take a quick temperature check on where the Titans are in the draft order heading into the regular season finale next.
Oh,
So the Titans came up short yesterday, but silver linings. The Tennessee Titans, after falling to the New Orleans Saints, do still have a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, which was not the case going into last Sunday. The Titans, according to Tankathon, welcome back. We're fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Also on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, the F&M Bank chat. The Titans have the number 4 overall pick in the draft with 1 game remaining. And currently, the Las Vegas Raiders hold the number 1 pick after getting routed by the New York Giants yesterday. Do we see any scenario where the Titans move up if they fall against the Jags, or does it feel like number 4 is the most likely spot for the Titans in the NFL draft this year?
Who's the Giants season finale against?
The Giants.
Because that matters here.
Yeah, they close out the season at home against Dallas, who is eliminated.
We are going to see the Raiders play the Chiefs in that final game as well.
Yeah, at home, Raiders are going to have the number 1 pick. The Raiders don't look like they're capable of doing anything against anybody at the moment.
Chiefs are I mean, they trotted out Ludicune again.
They did. And the Broncos didn't look inspiring on Christmas Day either against that Chiefs team. But
the Broncos haven't looked inspiring really all year long.
I think with what the Chiefs have on defense, the Raiders might net 40 yards of offense. Like that. What did they have yesterday? All right, they had 231 yards of offense. Okay.
That's actually an upset. But they were chasing the whole time. Like Geno just had to pass the entire time.
He threw a couple picks. Ashton Genty, 60 yards on the ground. Michael Mayer led them in receiving, but
never good.
Yeah, it will be hard to unseat the Raiders with the number 1 overall pick.
So 4th feels like best case scenario.
Let's see. If the Jets upset the Bills, anyone? Brady Cook?
No.
Going to go into Highmark Stadium? Shock the world?
I mean, they lost to a bad Eagles team at home yesterday. I mean, a bad Eagles team. They're an 11-win Eagles team.
Bills lost to the Pats. Joe Milton. But the Bills rested everybody. Bills don't have a reason to rest
not
starters, right?
I feel like we've used all our bad team beat a good team magic already.
Yeah. Well, because there's no definitively excellent team. Like, it's the Rams, right? But even the Rams are a bit fraught right now because the Niners, that Niners-Bears game last night was excellent.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the Niners continuing to just stack wins despite having almost none of their defensive players is an impressive feat.
Did you hear what Mike Tirico said on the broadcast? That last night's game was the first time in regular season history that a game has been tied 7-7 and 14-14 and 21-21 and 28-28 and then 35. Was it 35-35 at one point? I think it was.
I don't think that's true because the Ravens-Broncos game from their streak to the Super Bowl was that.
It has happened in the postseason.
Oh, okay. So
it was a regular season
yes.
game.
Okay.
Second time, there's happened once in the postseason. It had never happened in the regular season.
So having the 4th overall pick in this year's draft means that you're probably out of the trade back for the King's ransom type of draft haul that ideally you would have liked to see them get if they were going to continue to lose.
Like for a quarterback, for a team wanting to move up for a quarterback, you probably need to be top 3.
Who's even going to be the second? Like, Dante Moore's not coming out, is he? He doesn't seem to be. Like, I guess there's nothing that makes him have to declare already. But.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the noise around it was the Oregon was expecting him back, and now there is cause for concern for him coming back to school.
Okay. So if Mendoza is the best quarterback in the draft class right now, who is the second best quarterback prospect?
It is Moore, isn't it?
If Moore was in the draft,
but
yes.
He's not in the draft officially. Like, as we sit here today, who would be? Lenore Sellers is going back.
Probably be Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson is not. He's not declared, has he? Because there's some logic. Ty Simpson still has eligibility.
Does Ty have eligibility?
Yeah, we've looked this up before. We got a caller bring this up. Now,
yeah, he's a redshirt junior.
Now, if he has a hell of a run and they beat Indiana and they go down and play in Atlanta and they make a college football playoff run that none of us expect Alabama to make right now.
Yeah, Lenore Sellers is coming back. Carson Beck? I don't know. Yeah, I guess there's not a slam dunk in the draft process. We'll have to play that out.
It says Bias Titan fan on YouTube saying to me, you don't get to talk about this, Buck, after telling us all to eat poop. I didn't use the word poop. I used the expletive. For wanting a king's ransom. No, I said you should eat poop if you want the number 1 overall pick over Wentz. I think that I maintain that position. You should probably eat poop.
What you've seen from Cam Ward these last few weeks.
Infinitely more valuable.
Much more valuable than sucking your way all the way up to the number 1
Yeah,
pick.
so if you want to be a loser that way, you are entitled to, but I'm allowed to make fun of you for being a loser that way if you want to have that position. Now, the 4th overall pick is not a bad circumstance because what is your greatest need as they head into this offseason positionally? To me, it's pass rush. Even more than corner. I know what the corner situation looks like. L'Jarius Sneed and Marcus Harris.
I'd say it's between pass rush and receiver.
I think you have more at receiver right now than you do on the edge.
Yes, but in terms of where you need a game-changing player most, to me, it's a toss-up between receiver and pass rush.
Unless you want to be Joe Burrow, like, I think you can get by. You need both. The answer is you need both. But if we're talking about, all right, if you have to stick and pick at 4, let's assume that they do. What wide receiver versus what pass rusher?
Yeah, and that's a conversation we could have now, but that could be completely different by February. It could be Carnell Tate versus Reuben Bain. It could be Tyson, the receiver out of Arizona State, versus the edge rusher out of Auburn. I feel like right now, I'm no draft expert, but are we splitting hairs at the moment? Like, I don't know that there's a consensus wide receiver 1 in this draft. Is there?
Yeah, it's Tate.
Is it Tate?
Yeah.
For just
yes,
bar none?
Yep.
Okay. At least in the stuff that you read from smarter draft people, and I know Robert pays closer attention to this than you and I do at this time of year anyway.
I'll take an Ohio State receiver.
At least, and this is a much larger discussion to have. In my opinion, it is a lot easier to find good cornerbacks in the draft than find them in free agency. Good pass rushers reach free agency all the time. They're just too more expensive, or they're longer in the tooth. Corners, no, it is not that way.
I didn't want them to do it with L'Jarius Sneed and Cheeto when they did it because it's high variance and it's a lot of money and you did it twice. It didn't make sense to me. It's one of the bigger problems I had with Rand Carthon's strategy here during his time as general manager. It never made sense to me to invest that much in that position. Or at least the way that they were investing in that position didn't make any sense to me at all. And it didn't pan out, and it could have worked, I guess, but the chance that it was going to be a worse situation than actually hit the way that you needed to, that was always going to be a higher percentage chance.
The best corners that will be available in free agency as it stands right now would be Greg Newsome, who was traded from the Browns to the Jaguars in the middle of the season, and Roger McCreary.
And Roger's not playing there, really. They don't need him. Hurt? He was on IR, yeah.
Okay, yep.
So I think that the pass rush, because the pass rush is going to help prop up your suspect secondary. Again, they are off seasons plus from winning in a meaningful way, or at least winning at a rate where I can look at them and say, okay, you should be a wild card team by now, unless they make some kind of miraculous jump that we don't expect. Right, next year is going to be, this year was baseline offense. Let's get there. This offseason feels like baseline defense. Let's start the foundation on that side of things where you already have Kevin Winston and maybe Femi something and maybe Marcus Harris is something, but you feel you're on far less solid ground defensively than you are offensively. And I'm not saying you have to pick. We'll see how the draft board breaks for them. What was the year that Rand Carthon and was that 23 where they selected every pick on offense and didn't realize it until after the fact?
Yeah, 23. The Levis, Skoronski, Tajay.
So while I acknowledge what you're saying about the wide receiver, I think it's like to support Cam Ward is also being able to get off the field on defense. Look at the teams that are winning right now, Lucas. Like, there's not one guaranteed formula to get there. But even New Orleans' defense is giving Tyler Shuck a chance because they're getting off the field. You're just giving your young quarterbacks and Bo Nix and Trevor Lawrence isn't young necessarily, but Trevor Lawrence more opportunities. Like these teams with great defenses are cheat codes for your offense because you're just going to get more cracks at it. Now, it doesn't mean that you're any more successful. You may still go 3 and out and put your defense back on the field, but they have to get a game changer on that side of the ball that's not just Jeff Simmons.
Yeah, and there's not a position on the Titans depth chart that took that was bludgeoned more throughout the course of the year than cornerback, whether it was the Snead situation or trading away Brownlee. And then even you got some good stuff out of Marcus Harris. I feel like he showed some good signs.
Sure.
Had some good snaps. He goes down just one after the other after the other.
But think about it. So Blaine brought this up on the pregame show yesterday because we were talking about how the Jets don't have us. Jets didn't get an interception yesterday, did they? I didn't see that game.
I don't think so.
I assume not.
No, definitely not. Drake May was just incredible.
So the Jets do not have a single interception through 17 weeks of NFL football. And Blaine said immediately, okay, what's their pass rush situation look like? And we looked, and the Jets were bottom tier as far as getting after the quarterback. I think they have like 25 or maybe 30 sacks.
Oh, man.
So far this year.
When's the last time an NFL team went a whole season with no interceptions? Because they played the Bills.
I don't know that it's ever happened.
Oh, my goodness.
So Blaine's point was it's a lot easier for you to make those plays as a secondary if you got a pass rush that's going to put you in advantageous situations. I think that for the purposes of a team like the Titans, the trenches are the priority. If you can win there, offensively, defensively, you give your back end, you give your wide receivers, your quarterback, your safeties, your corners, you give them a chance on both sides of the ball if you build inside out.
It's never happened in the modern era.
Yeah, I would be shocked.
That's crazy. That's crazy. To not even fall into like a tip drill interception is insane.
But that's what Blaine was saying. He was saying that they're not getting tip drill opportunities because their pass rush doesn't get home.
Yeah.
So would that change your position at all if you get by, like, because you're more likely to find a viable free agent wide receiver than you are a viable free agent corner? Yes?
Yes.
I'm not saying spend $24 million a year on Calvin Ridley again or anything like that.
End of the day, it just comes down to the better player. I think the needs are even enough for this team to just take the player that you project to be a better pro. The Titans just haven't had a true number one target in so long, right? I mean, it's
AJ and Derek Mason. There's only a handful of times in the history of the franchise.
I was going to throw out D-Hop, right, as a 1,000-yard receiver at that age and an option for Will Levis late in the season especially. But, yeah, like a true number one target in terms of just that sort of outlet, that reliability factor, the ceiling, the upside that you brought in. Obviously, it hasn't been since AJ, but there's some good corners in this draft. Stoney Keeley is soft launching Jermod McCoy to the Titans on the F&M Bank chat. Would it be spitting in the face of Vols fans if the Titans did not draft Jermod McCoy in the first round?
How many people?
At number 4 overall.
Maybe not at number 4 overall, right? He's gonna fall. I mean, he's not going to fall out of the first round.
That's the thing. He's kind of being projected as CB1, if I'm not mistaken, at the moment, and that is sort of falling in the middle of the first round. So there may not be a cornerback good enough to take with the number 4 overall pick.
But there can be corners to take with the, what would their pick be?
Like the 36.
36?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky Gibson.
Is that the white guy you guys had? Who was the white corner?
Oh, no, you're thinking of the safety, Will Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
Ended up with the Chiefs. I don't know if he's still kicking it on the Chiefs active roster.
Something about that guy. Something about him.
Oh, you want to play that out?
First guy in, last guy out. Real coach's son.
Sneaky athletic.
No, he's a free agent.
Sneaky athletic.
Dang. You need to sign him.
Didn't make it.
So, I think because there's no injury for McCoy beyond an ACL.
Yes, the ACL that he suffered back in January.
Yeah, and so he decided to not come back in a season that they weren't going to make the college football playoff, and nobody would blame him.
Yeah, it was kind of a week-to-week thing. Will McCoy come back? And then the second they lost to Oklahoma, picked up that third loss, it was like, all right.
It's different than like what John Robinson did with Caleb Farley. Yeah. It's way closer to Jeff. I mean, Jeff Simmons was obviously, Jeff could have been a top 3 pick in that draft if he was healthy.
I actually think Ricky Gibson is back next year. Colton Hood did declare for the NFL draft. The Tennessee corner that transferred in from Colorado had a really nice season.
So multiple opportunities for the Titans to spit in the face of Vols fans.
Yes.
You're driving the segment, remember?
So the number 4 overall pick between wide receiver and pass rusher, it feels like you're looking at one of those two positions as it currently stands. If you're going to draft a top 5 player, that's not going to be a quarterback, and if you're not going to have an option to trade back out, it's hard to picture a cornerback going that high in this draft. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I would be, if Carnell Tate is there at 4, I'd take him.
sure. We can talk about what's a bigger need and what's not, but that's a separate conversation from the caliber of player that's available. Is Carnell Tate as wide receiver 1 that much better than who would be edge 1?
It depends on what team I
As
think.
it currently stands.
I mean, Robert, I've seen Arvell Reese. I feel like the Reuben Bain has fallen back a little bit from that conversation.
Reese, for whatever reason, doesn't get put into like an edge group a lot. But I would, it's probably Falk. I really like David Bailey, but I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. Really short arms.
The answer is there's a couple of different players.
Yeah, a number of players.
Meanwhile, the Raiders are going to draft Mendoza, right? Like if the Las Vegas Raiders have the number 1 overall pick.
I think Fitz would be in self-harm watch if they didn't take Fernando Mendoza.
Have you guys seen the tweet of it's the Simpsons meme of Smithers like holding his eyes shut as like strippers dance in front of him?
Yes.
And somebody said Mendoza in Vegas.
Oh, yes.
I sent that to the Twitter group.
He's too pure for Vegas. Don't send that man to Vegas.
Or he's going to turn into just a complete demon.
What a fun core that it would be, though. Like Mendoza, Bowers, Genty.
What about the TCU wide receiver? Has he done anything this year?
No,
Jack Besh.
I think he stepped on one of the coach's dogs or something. That guy got put in the doghouse so quick.
Weird stuff with the Raiders this week with Max Crosby that we can talk about tomorrow.
We certainly can.
Very strange. What was also strange was the entire Michigan athletic department situation for the better part of the last 5 to 7 years. They have a new head coach, and there's an argument to be made that they found a massive upgrade over what they had before. And we'll tell you who it is next. So I know a lot of you are going to be in the building at Nissan Stadium tomorrow, the Music City Bowl, Tennessee versus Illinois. Late afternoon, 4:30 kickoff. You're going to get hungry. Why get boring regular stadium tenders when you've got a Hattie B's hot chicken right there at Nissan Stadium? And it's a beautiful time of year to kick back and let Hattie B's fuel your holiday party, your New Year's Eve watch party, your college football playoff watch party. Whether that's a party of 20 people or it's just you at your house, download the Hattie B's app today. You get a free dessert simply by the act of downloading the app and order for pickup or delivery. Get yourself 1 or 2 big old buckets of Hattie B's hot chicken. Mild, medium, hot, all the way up to shut the clock up. Whatever works for you. It is a beautiful football week. College football playoff action. The NFL regular season coming to an end. Let Hattie B's warm you up as the temps cool down and you lock yourself in your house and watch some football. Visit any one of their 7 Middle Tennessee locations and download the Hattie B's app today.
What are you doing?
What's going on?
Is that Skrillex?
This is definitely
Yes,
Skrillex.
it is Skrillex.
I only know that Skrillex used to do a thing at Municipal Auditorium on New Year's Eve. Do they still do that? I feel like that was a thing that I had friends go to for 100 years.
Who are we arguing about? Skrillex versus who?
Weird Al.
Weird Al.
And I looked up Skrillex's monthly listeners. He has like 100 million.
Just blew Weird Al out of the water.
The lead up to that song, like the build up of that, always makes me laugh. And I was going to play it when you asked me about the Ravens and the Pirates weekend, but I just saved it. And then I didn't find a song until too late. So you got, and my heart will never die. Oh, I'm not going to make you listen to a whole nother build up.
I'm okay with it. I like that music.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
I
No,
kinda
you
do.
don't. No,
Yeah.
you don't.
Well, you haven't been to Night We Met yet here in town?
What's Night We Met?
It's on. I don't think I can tell you now. It's on a need-to-know basis.
No, you can tell me. You can. What's it called?
No, you don't like that music.
No, I do like that music. I was saying you don't like that music.
You don't know what I like.
I like that music.
The only thing that I know that I don't like is you two.
That's not nice. I like that music when extracurriculars are involved. You know.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, no, I'm not going to without heavy utilization of some mind-altering effects there. But
Speaking of extracurriculars involved, Sharon
down.
Moore is facing several legal issues.
really,
while
that's
Michigan,
the transition you want to make?
While Michigan pivots. And Michigan has brought in a new coach. And it is official. Kyle Whittingham is the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. And this is such a massive step up from what Michigan had before with its head coaching situation. By any metric, Kyle Whittingham's resume as a head coach is better than what they had in Sharon Moore. Somehow, and I don't know what's going to happen with Ward Manuel. I haven't seen anything in relation to his status at Michigan.
I don't think anybody really knows. Pate was convinced he wasn't even going to make the hire.
I mean, he was right there at the press conference. He was introducing Kyle Whittingham. As far as I know, that investigation is still ongoing from the university, essentially auditing its athletic department. But Michigan somehow, through all of this mess, has landed an established winner and culture builder in Kyle Whittingham, who went 177-88 at Utah, won 3 Pac-12 titles. Well, 2 Pac-12 titles, 1 Mountain West championship, had an undefeated season at Utah where they beat Nick Saban's Alabama in the Sugar Bowl at the end of the year. Multiple double-digit win seasons, including 2025, where Utah went 10-2 and barely missed the college football playoff. I don't know that Michigan, even all of the drama and the scandal of it all aside, I don't know that Michigan could have landed on a better, more needed personality fit to come in and lead their program. Like, if Sharon Moore had just been fired regularly without all the off-field stuff, this would be a home run hire. But even with that entire mess that kind of hovers over the entire athletic department, let alone the football program, this is a home run. It's crazy that 2 of the most convoluted and seemingly dysfunctional coaching searches in all of college football this year, Penn State and Michigan, landed on 2 excellent candidates, established winners, established head coaches at the Power 4 level in college football. Penn State bringing in Matt Campbell of Iowa State, Michigan, Kyle Whittingham of Utah.
Yeah, because they're still 2 of the best jobs in college football.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a different version of what NFL fans like to do about their head coaching openings, where it's like, oh, it's 1 of 32. Somebody will want it. It's not an unattractive job because there's only so many of them. Yeah, okay. There are still unattractive NFL jobs. Penn State and Michigan coming open under different kind of circumstances, and maybe not the right kind of circumstances, still doesn't ignore the fact that does Michigan have the deepest pockets of any athletic department out there?
I bet it's Texas A&M.
Texas Tech just spent $25 million on their roster, and it's obviously paid huge dividends for them in the college football playoff as they come off a bye and get ready to play this weekend. But I think that you are correct in the way that Sharon Moore was viewed and how, I mean, I know this is a technical NCAA term, but like a literal lack of institutional control that Sharon Moore and I would argue Ward Manuel seem to have over their respective responsibilities. The fact that, did you watch any, or did you see, not that I watched the press conference of Kyle Whittingham, but Did you see some of the introductory clips?
Yeah, I saw that
The awkward handshake that Ward Manuel didn't go for?
I didn't see that. I did see that Kyle Whittingham bravely admitted that he consulted Urban Meyer before taking this job.
Why is that brave? Just because it's Michigan, Ohio State?
Yeah. I mean, he said, I don't know if this is a 4-letter word around here, but yeah, I talked to Urban. And Urban, one of his mentors, he worked for Urban when Urban was the head coach at Utah before taking the Florida job.
What is he? Are Michigan fans worried that Urban Meyer is going to be like, yeah, go ahead, take that job. Yeah, bud. I think that Kyle Whittingham makes a lot of sense. I'm just curious. Like, I didn't see any kind of. I didn't see any clips specifically. I'm sure he was asked the question about why he decided to leave Utah. But I hadn't seen any response that was making the rounds in a notable way. Like, I didn't see any answer that was satisfactory or any clips of that nature. Because, I mean, 21 years and
it's an anomaly.
Competing at a very high level for some guy to just be like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm okay here. And maybe he wanted, did somebody on his staff take over that job?
Yeah, his defensive coordinator, Morgan Scalley.
So maybe a coach in waiting type of situation, and Kyle Whittingham just did him a solid and be like, you know what, I've had my run here 21 years. I think I'm going to and he was right. Like, I'm sure his representation was telling him, you'll be an attractive candidate should this come available. Or should a job be open that you want. I just don't think anybody could have predicted that it would have been the Michigan job when these two things happened when they did.
Yeah, he kind of talked about feeling as though it was time to step away and feeling that way a little bit last year, but Utah went 5-7 last year. Kyle Whittingham did not want to end his tenure on that note, so he came back, and they won 10 games this year. And Morgan Scalley will take over. He'll coach in the Las Vegas Bowl, and Kyle Whittingham made it very clear once he stepped down that he was not retiring, and ends up at Michigan, where he has infinitely more resources than he did at any point at Utah. And he consistently competed at the top of the Pac-12, and this year at the top of the Big 12 when leading the Utes. Did it in 3 different conferences. And it's crazy to think that Kyle Whittingham's first game coached at Utah was the Fiesta Bowl in 2004 when Urban left to take the Florida job. That's how long he's been the head coach at one place. And now he lands at Michigan, where if Bryce Underwood sticks around, which there's no indication that the 5-star quarterback is set to leave after his freshman year, this could be a fairly turnkey situation for Michigan after what was a very dramatic and ugly end of the season on and off the field.
Yeah, I just worry about Utah's success moving forward. Michigan's had to deal with it with the Sharon Moore stuff, but Scalley always attracts the wags, and I wouldn't want any other kind of issues to arise.
I was going to let you finish the segment instead of sending you out in the cold to go get Brett Kern, but instead I'm going to send you to the shadows and go get Brett
I got
Kern.
a wife and girlfriend, a Scalley wag. I got the whole thing in there. What do you mean? Come on, God. Don't send me out.
He didn't even laugh at you.
He did laugh. He laughed under his breath.
It's envy, Robert. It's envy that he could never think of something so creative.
I'm so happy that my mind does not work the way that yours does.
You want me to go get Brett?
Go get Brett.
This is notable news.
Thank you.
Penn State is hiring USC defensive coordinator DeAnton Lynn as its defensive coordinator, swiping him away from Lincoln Riley. And that is the Jim Knowles replacement at Penn State as Jim Knowles heads to Tennessee.
USC plays who? TCU in their bowl game? Or has that already happened? I think that's coming up.
USC has not played. They do play TCU tomorrow night in the Alamo Bowl.
Okay. The Lincoln Riley conversation is always an interesting one, too, but it seems he's bought himself enough time moving forward.
But that's a blow. I mean, we haven't talked about USC's defense being lifeless in like 2 years. And that was the story of the Lincoln Riley era for a time at USC. That's a credit to DeAnton Lynn and Riley for making that move. And that's an excellent hire by Matt Campbell. I mean, it's just crazy how Penn State and Michigan have landed on their feet in all of this.
615-737-1045 is the number. Brett Kern will join us in studio. We'll talk about a Cam Ward and Titans offensive scoring trend that has taken place over the last few weeks that you're really going to like. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
It is 11:59 seconds away from 12 o'clock. Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans fell to the Saints in the final home game of the season, 34-26 on Sunday after they led 20-10 at halftime. The Saints went on a 24-6 run in the second half to win a fourth straight game and drop the Titans to 3-13. Cam Ward, 21-40 for 251 and 2 touchdowns. The Titans finish out the regular season next week in Jacksonville. It is officially a noon kickoff on Sunday against the Jags. Sunday Night Football was a shootout. The 49ers outscoring the Bears 42-38, and San Francisco is a win away from locking up the 1 seed in the NFC. Tonight, Week 17 finishes out in Atlanta. The Falcons, who are already eliminated, hosting the LA Rams at 11-4, and still in the picture for the 1 seed in the NFC. 7:15 the kickoff tonight. You can catch that game right here on the Zone, courtesy of Westwood One. Nashville Soccer Club has traded away winger Jacob Schaffelberg to LAFC. Schaffelberg was an acquisition from Toronto 3 years ago with the Boys in Gold. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Always good to have Brett and Bryce Kern in studio. Hope your holidays were good, boys. Lovely to see you.
Good to see you.
Legend of the game, Brett Kern,
Yes.
getting the crowd hyped. How'd it feel to come out of the tunnel at Nissan Stadium? I took a
bathroom break.
I took a bathroom break. It was an unfortunate time.
I'm used to people doing that on fourth down, so it's fine. I made sure before I went out there not to snack on trail mix like I did, last time I was here on the show and thought I was going to have to get the Heimlich from Bryce.
A risk that Lucas Panzica runs every day.
Every day.
Everybody wants to be like Lucas, and I tried, and it failed. And it was fun to run out. There's, I think, 20 or 30 season ticket members. Kind of ran through them. They made a little tunnel, and I wasn't sure how I was going to react. I'm usually a pretty low-key kind of guy, and then I got in the field and just felt like, oh, man, this is a good feeling.
Yeah.
I miss this feeling, and I just started yelling into the mic. I don't even remember what I said, but...
I got blacked out a little bit.
I just blacked out. I made sure, everybody said tighten up twice, and then it was over. So,
well, it was very vulgar. I was surprised to hear what you were saying out there.
Just laced with expletives.
Like, oh, man, that doesn't sound like Brett. Just out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
I've never heard Brett cuss before.
No, I
don't think I ever will.
I got some feedback that you had the best performance of the season.
That's great.
So we need to bring that to Ben Jones when he comes in.
Ben. Yeah, step your game up a little bit, legend of the game.
I didn't see Ben's. I'd love to see Ben, get the crowd hyped up.
I was hoping he was going to do the cartwheel because I know Ben's got that in his bag. But
Ben is sneaky athletic. Sneaky athletic.
Were you when special teams kind of congregates in the tunnel before running out onto the field, were you usually speaking?
As far as, I never ran out with the team.
Okay.
Yeah, I was always, if the team, anytime, we said the Lord's Prayer, all that kind of stuff, broke it down, guys started heading out, I was out. I went straight to the field and just started hitting. I'd probably get 5 to 10 punts in before the team actually came out.
But whenever, you always see the quarterbacks will come out, even if for pregame warmups, they'll huddle up real quick, say a few things, and then trot out onto the field. And then the running backs and the receivers.
No, that's what he's saying. He's out before all that.
Right.
Happens.
You're saying even when the specialists go out,
just with you, Morgan Cox, or Bo Brinkley, whoever it might have been, Ryan Suckup, huddled up. Who was usually talking?
Usually, all of us said have fun, and then give each other a fist pump and go do our jobs.
Tennessee tripod on 3, 1, 2, 3.
It was nothing. Inspirational or motivational. It was just, and depending on the weather. I mean, yesterday's wind was pretty crazy at Nissan. I texted Jake Elliott and Braden Mann before their game in Buffalo, just told them to have fun in that weather. Because there's really, you play in that kind of stuff, there's only, you kind of survive and hope that you don't screw the game up, But you kind of joke about that kind of weather and all that kind of stuff now. But it was good to see the guys yesterday, talking to Johnny and Morgan and Joey Sly before the game. And, it's one of those things. Hey, it's 75 degrees, after Christmas, but it's going to come with, 20, 30 mile an hour winds. But, they handled it pretty well. Obviously, Joey Sly, smoking a 58-yarder that was, it looked like it was halfway up the uprights from where I was sitting. And Johnny also, wish he could have downed that first punt. Would have gave him New Orleans pretty tough field position early on, but they almost got it. But he also had a great game as well. So
their punter shanked one early to give the Titans great field position in that situation. 17-yard punt.
I know that wind. A lot of times with that kind of southwest, even southeast wind, I always try to punt to our sidelines because most of the time it's fairly protective. But if anything, it's going to come in and blow to our sidelines. And for him being a lefty, and the wind was probably coming into him and across his body, that's gonna promote a big inside drop. And I could just tell the way he swung through it, that ball was so far inside. He tried to save it. He saved it enough for a 17-yard punt, but that could have been a lot worse.
So the game ends up being a pretty entertaining one from start to finish. Yeah. And the first quarter was a bit of a slog for both teams. And you saw both rookie quarterbacks kind of feeling that out as they went along. How many have you been to many games live this year?
I went to the Patriots game.
That's right. So with that, how much different did it look in person? Obviously, you've been watching these games every week. We talk about it with you every week when you come in with us and with Ben and with Nate as well. But how much different do they look from the last time that you saw them in person, where they were almost non-functioning, to yesterday's performance, where they do sputter a bit in the second half, Brett, and their defense doesn't play particularly well, but the offense, they're scoring 3 touchdowns a game in this month of December.
Yeah, you could tell. We've talked about it many times beforehand. The ability to run the football, and I know Pollard. Yesterday he had 18 for 85, didn't get over 100, but Spears looked good on some of his carries, and you could just tell that. It really helps Cam out when you can run the ball. It sets up the play action. It just keeps the defense guessing a little bit. So you could tell, if Luke Stalker's calling the run game, I think he is. Whoever's doing it over there, it just, like Ben said, it's been simplified. Maybe if you have 8, 9, 10 runs, they're working on those, and maybe running those same runs out of different formations instead of having 20 to 30 runs. And there's really no rhythm to it. And so, Pollard, Spears, they both run the ball really hard. They're able to break tackles. And you can tell Cam looks a little bit more comfortable back there. And there's times too, he's made some really good throws. Even Tyler Shuck yesterday, you could tell there's some of those rhythm throws in the wind yesterday was tough. But, he had a beautiful ball, scrambling out, to Mason, that deep ball at the end of the half. I loved how they responded, after the Chase Young strip sack and score and to score at the end of the half, too, to go up 20-10. And that ball, if there was no PI, DK's catching that. And He's probably falling into the end zone. It was a beautiful ball. And there's still some throws that, just like, you can tell his feet's not set. Looks a little rushed. And like I said, I'm always in the camp of him multiple times yesterday. It's 5-step, 7-step drop. If your first read, second read's not there, just take off. Like, there's room to take off. And he did it a couple times. You could tell, ran for a first down. Had another one where I think he ran for 5-6 yards, but now it's, it was 2nd and 8, and instead now it's 3rd and 2, right? So you're ahead of the sticks. He looks, there's been improvement, which I think is what you want the most. And you could tell, obviously, this team's scoring more, and they look better. What they need, obviously, is that number one target. To see, Tyler Shuck yesterday with Olave, and what he did, 8 catches, 119 yards. Even looking at like somebody like JSN, some of these guys, these first-round draft picks. And even look at the Steelers yesterday. You think they missed DK?
Yeah.
And they won't have him, obviously, for the Sunday night matchup next week. So I know.
Look at him back there. Relax. Calm down. This is a professional atmosphere.
You give that number one target to Cam. And, I was doing some research on, DK, Io Manor, Jefferson. You look at the top 3 receivers. They have 112 catches, right, combined, the 3 of them. Well, Trey McBride, he's a tight end, which is crazy that he's leading the league with 119 receptions this year. But Jamar, Puka Nacua, and JSN all have more catches than 112.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So I think a number one target would benefit Cam greatly.
Sure, and he and I were just having this conversation before you guys got here about the idea of they just need players at a variety of different positions, and if an edge is sitting there or if a wide receiver is sitting there, where would they be more likely to go? What benefits them more in the immediate and long term, obviously, as they try to build this thing up for not just the immediate but the future. And I go back and forth on this because I'm also looking at a lot of these young quarterbacks, Brett, with cheat code defenses who just give them more opportunities. And if he's being adequately protected, does that mitigate to some extent the immediate need for a top option? They need both. There's no disputing that. But I want him to have as much support as humanly possible. I think people in their heads immediately go to top option wide receiver. I think a defense also supports him in ways that he needs right now too, because they couldn't get off the field yesterday. They were terrible in the second half yesterday.
Yeah, I mean you could tell too that secondary, especially in the fourth quarter, it was tough. You know, they're depleted. First
Kamon
of all,
Hall was going for a ride, man. He had plenty of hustle out there.
Props to him though on causing that fumble. I mean, that was
truly.
That's hustle. I think he missed the tackle, and then
missed the tackle by a mile. How much more ground did he have to cover to force that fumble?
But he did.
Yeah,
he redeemed it. He redeemed it. So and that's just a hustle play. Elam, I was like, two Saints are on top of this thing, and the next thing you know, I'm like, wait a second, it's a touchback.
The Saints drive chart in the second half: touchdown, field goal, fumble, which was the touchback.
Right.
Touchdown, punt towards the end of the game.
Yeah, and you could tell too, when New Orleans went up 27-26, I think Titans got the ball back, 6:22 left. They ran 20 plays, 18 of them passes. Cam went 7 of 15 with 3 sacks. So you could tell, obviously you take the run game out, it becomes extremely predictable, and that's tough. That's tough on a quarterback.
And how about Chimere Dike, man? He gets it done with a game to spare, breaks the NFL rookie record for all-purpose yardage, still leads the league. Anytime you're passing Gale Sayers in any category,
that's unbelievable.
It's something. So
who's the other one? Tim Brown.
Tim Brown was the all-time leader until yesterday.
He's got a gold jacket too, so
not bad.
Not bad company.
No, and he's. There are some things that, and to your point about what number one wide receiver, Chimere Dike is obviously a complementary piece as they continue to move forward with this. But they have acquitted themselves really well, given the circumstances. A young offensive core with Gunner out there battling through a toe injury yesterday, and Chig is obviously a different category, but Chig at least opening up the conversation again to the idea of keeping him as he has an expiring contract. The offensive line playing considerably better football in front of the running backs and the quarterback.
Mason Kinsey.
Nobody is more extra than Mason Kinsey standing up.
Hey, no, but he gets to do that, though. Like, I'm sorry. With his path, a 34-yard comeback catch in an NFL game, he gets to do that.
Look, I was watching the game, watched, most of it, and when I saw that was one of the few times I actually got out of my seat. It was just like, let's go, Mason. This dude is a dog. So
no, he is. And
he's out there. I mean, I think he's a core 4 on special teams.
Oh, sure. I'm sure you probably had a front row seat to the Mason Kinsey experience when he was emerging out of D3.
Yeah, I did. And it's just somebody that, the way he grinds, the way he hustles, he'll do anything just to get on that field. And, so I'm a Mason Kinsey fan.
So it was an interesting weekend across the board, not just for current Titans, but former Titans. And it has created a lot of what if discussions that we can get into with former Titan Brett Kern next.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators. Only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today. Swing still looks just okay, though.
I love living in Middle Tennessee. We've got great restaurants, entertainment, sports, and one of the nation's top Ford dealers right here in our backyard. Two Rivers Ford. Remember that name. Two Rivers has been a staple in our community since 1983. They're locally owned. They have a non-commissioned sales team, and they sell below MSRP. They've been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
So we see it every offseason, right? Who's stopping this duo? Who's stopping this trio? Insert X quarterback, running back, wide receiver. And now we have the what if. Who's stopping this quartet of Titans with Mike Vrabel as coach, Malik Willis at quarterback, Derrick Henry at running back, and, of course, A.J. Brown at receiver. And Brett Kern is in studio with us. Welcome back. And I'm curious your reaction when you see that stuff with Malik Willis, ignoring the fact that Malik Willis was literally acquired by the Titans with one of the picks that they got in the A.J. Brown trade, making that scenario literally impossible. But Malik was impressive Saturday. What did you think of him, and what do you think when you see that stuff with a bunch of your former teammates?
I mean, I'm happy for him. I mean, that's just a part of the league. I think we've talked about it before. I mean, I wondered how, Miami felt when Tannehill came here and, did the things that he was doing here, right?
They were displeased. Can confirm.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it happens across the league. Obviously something like Derrick, obviously congrats to him. 7 games over 200.
Record.
Should be 8. What was it, Buffalo? He was at 201, lost 2 yards on one of his last carries to finish at 199. So it should be more, but to see all 6 out of the 7 firsthand, 4 against Houston, 2 against Jacksonville, especially one of them at last game of the year at Houston to go over 2,000 yards.
COVID season?
Pretty special 2020.
Yeah.
Yep. Was that the Sam Sloman?
No.
Was that 21?
That was 21.
Yep.
Derrick's 2,000-yard season at Houston first, and then...
That was Sam Sloman.
No.
No, at Houston.
Yes, they were both at Houston.
Okay.
Derrick Henry in COVID broke 2,000 yards, and then the following season, they ended the season again at Houston with the division on the line because Deshaun Watson was still quarterbacking the Texans.
He rushed for 212. I got it right here. He rushed for 212 in 2020 to go over 2,000.
Yeah.
And then in 2021, that's right. I think that was Sam Sloman because he rushed for 250.
Game was insane because it was a back and forth. Defense optional in that game.
34 attempts.
Yeah.
Well, Derrick wouldn't have been on the field at the end of the year in 21. That was his
Correct.
foot injury
Correct.
season. But
that was the Sloman.
The coolest thing about that performance from Derrick to me is that his long was a 30-yard rush. He didn't have he didn't break a 60-yarder, right?
It was a career high in attempts. Which was also insane.
36 attempts and averaged 6 yards per carry.
That's pretty good.
Just wearing them down all night long.
Yeah. That's crazy because I remember when I first got here, that's the year that CJ rushed over 2,000. And I just felt like CJ was 3 yards, 4 yards, 85. And then it was 6, 7, and then 62. And, just the ability. But for him, to get over 200 yards, which you said as long as 30, I mean, that is just pounded on guys.
I just thought
over and over again.
How many players in NFL history have been teammates with 2 different 2,000-yard rushers? It can't be that many.
There's one in this room.
Yes.
I was going to say, there's only, 8 all-time 2,000-yard seasons?
Yeah.
Including Derrick, yeah.
And that you experienced 2 of them is pretty cool.
I did. It was awesome. It was great to see both of them do it. And how they did it, too, was different. Obviously, CJ, extremely fast, quick twitch. Derrick's fast. Trust me, he's very fast, but he just runs you over. And you think you have an angle on him, and you're getting the stiff arm. So
the stiff arm that he had again on Saturday night, where the guy just goes. I mean, he literally 5 feet forward. Because Derrick. It's not just that Derrick's fast; it's that Derrick has gotten physically bigger every year that he's out there. I assume for durability purposes, as a part of his training in Dallas.
His training's nuts. They're in Dallas. We've talked about nutrition when we were together. Gluten-free, fried foods, sugars, all that kind of stuff.
No more Monels for Derrick. Loves Monels.
But, I mean, obviously super happy for him. But even to see, Malik, I mean, that's what you want in a backup, right? Malik comes in, gets a start. I think his first start of the year. I know he filled in a little bit. Obviously, when Love got hurt against Chicago. But for him, 9 rushes, 60 yards, leads the team. Goes out there 18 of 21 for 288 and a touchdown. That's what you want your backup to do. And for him, obviously gave him a chance to win the game. But, it's obviously Baltimore running the rock how they did with Derrick is it's great to see. I love to see it for him. And obviously, I think that puts him as a first ballot Gold Jacket Hall of Famer.
Robert, did you have like a moment? Go ahead. What were you going to say?
You are correct, Lucas, that Brett, along with Craig Stevens, Jarrell Casey, and Bo Brinkley are the only players in NFL history to share a 2,000-yard rusher teammate.
So there were no former – well, yeah, because –
well, Google AI tried to buff me
you're
at
right.
first.
You're right.
Like,
well, I'm trying to think. AJ, what about AJ Brown?
No, because CJ did it in 2009.
Right.
Bo Brinkley wasn't on the team in 2009.
See, Google AI ain't worth a darn.
And I don't think Craig Stevens was done. Was that 15 maybe or 16?
It says Craig Stevens was on the Titans from 2000 and 2008 with Chris Johnson, and then came back to the Titans in 2016 before retiring early that season.
Right, so he didn't see Derek go for 2,000.
Yeah, because Derek was 2020.
And I think they're saying that he was on the team early in that season.
And AJ would need to be on that list too,
2020
right?
season.
AJ was in high school.
Okay, everybody's wrong.
No, but
Brett's
AJ
not special. No, stop talking.
Brett is one of the ones that's special.
No, I think that's wrong too. Google
AJ
AI is wrong about everything.
No, I'm just saying go Steelers.
No.
But AJ Brown was teammates. AJ Brown was teammates with Saquon Barkley last year and Derek in the 2000s.
Yes.
So AJ should be on that list too.
Yep. Was he on the list? He's
So one of y'all better Google it.
Okay, calm down back there. I know you worked your ass off to go get that one stat that was wildly incorrect. But as a Ravens fan, what were Ravens fans looking at Todd Monken after that game being like, why didn't you just do that the whole time, Todd? After there was criticism about Derrick Henry's utilization and things like that. And I see people like Bill Cowher and Nate Burleson on their respective pregame and halftime shows talking about sometimes just you overthink it as a coach in that situation. Were Ravens fans vindicated by the Derrick Henry performance?
Well, everyone's claiming that it was because Harbaugh had a play sheet, which he generally does not do. So no one was giving flowers to Todd Monken. And it was kind of like, you didn't get us what we wanted for Christmas. And then like the week after Christmas, they were like, oh, look what fell off a truck. How'd this happen? So, I mean, no one was really giving credit to anybody but Derek.
He's also 31 yards away from his fifth.
No more stats.
Career 1,500-yard season.
He broke like 7 people's records in that game.
It was awesome.
And if he gets to 1,500, it will be him and Barry Sanders as the only players with 5 1,500-yard seasons in league history.
It's a gold jacket right there. Puts him, what is he now in the league? Third in rushing this year, 16 touchdowns.
Yeah, top 10 all time. Like we used to say, if Derek can go win a Super Bowl in Baltimore, he'll be a Hall of Famer.
No,
now it's like
that's more of a quarterback thing, though, right?
Yeah,
like the
probably.
ring seems more of a.
Well, I think it's what got Terrell Davis into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
but Terrell Davis his career shorter.
Yeah, exactly. And having
so that
Super
ring,
Bowl
ring helped out.
Yeah.
But I don't think. I mean, if Derek gets a ring, great for him. I'm super happy for him. But I don't think he needs a ring to get that jacket.
Coast into Canton.
I think my understanding is that he wants to play one more season definitively after this one, and then I think he wants to be done. We'll see if that ends up being true or not. But
he signed. Did he rework his deal this offseason?
He did rework his deal, right?
Robert should know.
Oh, I don't want to give you not factual information.
Well, these are things that I know you actually know.
You should know the guaranteed money, the incentives,
he
everything.
signed a 2-year extension. So he's on for next year and one more year.
Okay.
At least contractually.
Turns 32 on Sunday.
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, let me bring the song back up. Hold on.
Oh, that's his birthday.
Steelers
Ravens is on his birthday.
The last time he had a game like that on his birthday, wasn't that the game that he threw the touchdown pass to Corey against the Ravens? No, that was Corey Davis's birthday.
Yeah, and that would have been later in January.
Yeah.
It would have been divisional round.
Yeah. Against the Patriots. No, against the Ravens, rather. He is one of those figures, like, as we're watching the NFL postseason start to take shape, and obviously the Ravens want to participate and things like that. I don't know. How do we feel about the Ravens right now? Because they were as popular a Super Bowl pick as any team out there this year by sports books, by
us.
Like, literally all three of us picked the Ravens and the Bucs to be in the Super Bowl. The Bucs are teetering, and then the Ravens are clinging to their playoff lives at this point in time. But I don't know. If I was looking at Baltimore objectively, Brett, I would think that I feel better about them right now than I have at any point in the last 2 months of them.
Yeah, and obviously you saw Pittsburgh without having Metcalf, and I think Washington. Did he break his arm? I saw
Yes.
something. Yeah. So then now you lose that big target, literally big target, biggest tight end ever in NFL history. I think that's tough, and Baltimore's obviously got some momentum. Going into Lambeau Field and get the dub how they did. Yeah, I know they didn't have Jordan Love, but Malik still. I mean, if Jordan Love had those stats as Malik did, I mean that's still an extremely impressive win. So the stats were there, for Green Bay and how Malik played. But I think I'm not sure because right now whoever wins, the NFC North, I think they have to play Houston. I'm not sure if Houston's locked in on that 5 seed.
AFC North.
Sorry, AFC North, yes, if they're locked in on that 5 seed. But
Houston could feasibly win the AFC South still.
If Jacksonville loses to the Titans. Yeah. I don't know. There's some really good playoff matches. I know there's still a lot to be played for, next week, especially those 2 games on Saturday that the NFL lined up for us. But, just to think New England and Buffalo playing again, Chicago, Green Bay potentially playing again. And then obviously to see LA potentially go to Philly in that 6-3 matchup is pretty darn crazy for divisional or first round of the playoffs is some pretty good games.
I can't remember the last time I've enjoyed an NFL season top to bottom as much as this one because it just feels wide open.
It does.
And I say that as like maybe I'm just watching more football if it's not the team that I cover on a regular basis because I'm like, all right, whatever. We're going to talk about the Titans, but like I'd like to watch other teams just to kind of keep an eye on what's happening elsewhere in the league, whereas most years where they're in it longer, I feel like I've been more locked in on just them. Just getting to experience some of the games and some of the teams, some of the quarterbacks performances, some of the turnarounds from a franchise standpoint that we've seen this year. I think it's as enjoyable a season as as a football fan on the couch as I've had in a while.
Yeah, you look at Drake May, playoffs. What does that look like? Do you trust Trevor Lawrence in the playoffs? CJ Stroud, Herbert, some of these quarterbacks that are going to get into these playoffs, and then here you have Josh Allen potentially, as the 7th seed, right? Sitting there, and everybody talks about Malik and some of his throws and all that kind of stuff. And you look at yesterday's game, that 2-point conversion at the very end, had Shakir wide open, in the back of the end zone and Josh rolling to his left, just kind of short-armed it and incomplete, which, they should have won the game. Potentially to think that, if the Steelers win, that there's no Lamar Jackson, obviously there's no Mahomes clearly, but, to really think that really the only truly experienced quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, yes, but Josh Allen being the only kind of superstar stud playoff experienced quarterback in the AFC is pretty crazy. Sitting, like I said, at the 7th seed.
Brett Kern in studio with us. If things stand, the Packers currently the 7th seed in the NFC, like we said, Bills 7th seed in the AFC. The Rams are currently the 6th seed in the NFC, Chargers the 6th in the AFC. Which of those 4 teams to you would be the most dangerous on the road? Put it between Rams and Bills.
Oh, boy. Look, I thought Buffalo would be that, but Philly came in yesterday and just kind of stopped the number 1 rushing offense in its tracks.
Jalen Carter's a freak.
Yeah. Well, it's like you got Carter tipping an extra point, huge point in the game. But then it's like, well, Carter needs a break. Who are you going to bring in? Somebody that might even be bigger in Jordan Davis. And so, the Rams, I like the Rams a lot. I think it's a tough ask to go to Philly. That's a tough place to play. You don't know what the weather's going to be like. Last year, they played in a snowstorm? And the Rams almost came back and won it. But
they were a play away from winning that game.
Yeah, Saquon obviously went off in the season that he had last year, but obviously on their way to the Super Bowl last year. But Philly's defense. Jalen Hurts. I don't even know if he completed a pass in the second half yesterday. And I think they had 17 or 18 yards in the second half. But that defense is stout, and for them to go into Buffalo, and really kind of shut down that running game. Which Buffalo really thrives on, it makes Buffalo vulnerable, and so I just think it's crazy that Buffalo's a 7th seed and LA's sitting there at a 6th seed when we were talking earlier in the year about LA being almost a for sure in the NFC. Super Bowl lock, and here they are, the 6th seed, potentially having to go to Philly in the first round of the playoffs.
He did not. He was 0 for 7 in the second half.
0 for 7. And they still won.
They won the game.
And they won the game. And so, you look at that and you're like, man, watching New Orleans yesterday and Kellen Moore, you don't think Philly misses him as the offensive coordinator last year.
Truly.
And so I think, as far as the Titans, as far as hiring a new coach, I think, because like I was looking at the Tampa Bay situation and Bowles, and it's like if they lose this game to Carolina, I think he's gone. I think he gets fired. And so like for the Titans, as far as hiring a new coach, is it something where, because I look at Todd's situation, and was it Canellis? He goes to Carolina, and Liam Cohen goes to Jacksonville, and last year Tampa Bay had the third best offense in the league. Right. And so he's constantly having to replace offensive coordinators, where if you look at like Shanahan or McVay, you have like an offensive head coach. Like if you lose your offensive coordinator, well, it's fine because I'm still the head dog and I could still bring somebody in that I trust. I'm still helping call plays, all that kind of stuff. Where if you're on the defensive side, yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay's defense is really good, but he's having to replace these offensive coordinators. I think that's just difficult being a defensive coordinator. So like, talking about the Titans and, new coach, I'd be curious to see which way they go about with that.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating process. Mike Borgonzi is going to speak. We were curious about when that was going to take place at the end of the season. Apparently, Mike McCoy is going to speak next Monday, and Mike Borgonzi on Tuesday after that. Just a quick update for Titans fans who are wondering about when Mike Borgonzi would next be available to answer some questions. Jacksonville. Is there a better team in football in the last month of the season than Jacksonville has been, the Titans' next opponent?
I mean, they're playing pretty darn good.
Trevor looks awesome.
He does. I mean, yesterday, threw for 263, had the one pick, but, once again with his legs.
Yeah, 2 rushing scores.
2 rushing scores. And so that's, we kind of talk about with Cam. Justin Herbert led the Chargers in rushing the other day. And, it's when you can extend plays with your feet. Drake May does it. Obviously, Josh Allen does it. It makes it a lot easier for your offense. As far as moving the ball, it's just one more thing you have to do. One more thing you have to worry about as a quarterback that can use his feet. And Trevor he can run. And their defense is, I think we were talking about when they played the Broncos, number 1 rushing defense in the league. So, they're a dangerous. I mean, we were talking about kind of the AFC South being kind of the joke of the NFL, and it's like here you have Houston, number 1 defense, which you do not want to play in the playoffs, a defense like that. And then you got Jacksonville that went on the road to Denver, took care of business pretty easily, and Denver's sitting at the number 1 seed. So pretty crazy.
Meanwhile, the NFC South could have a team with a losing record as a champion hosting a playoff game.
Yeah.
If the Bucs win.
Bucs win.
They'd be 8-9.
God.
Division champs.
And host a playoff game.
Disgusting. I feel like they do that more than any other division in football.
How do you fix that, though? Like, I mean, I get it. You won your division. That's great. You get to host the home playoff game. But, look at, Buffalo.
Yeah.
They run into a division. Obviously, New England's, a game ahead of them. And here they are sitting at the 7th seed.
There's no perfect solution. I just think you have to be prepared that every couple of years there's going to be a team like that gets in that doesn't have any business being there.
This is perfect. This is perfect. Like the NFL playoff picture, when I look at it right now, it's beautiful. It's perfect. The fact that we could get Packers-Bears in the wild card round, that we could get a Bucs team at 8-9 getting hot and upsetting a team at home in a playoff game. The NFL playoff situation with the division setup, like this year of all years, is an example of why it is the perfect playoff setup in my mind.
So you're okay, like if let's say the Bucs win, they're 8-9. You're okay with the losing team, that record, getting in, winning a division. It feels like the NBA.
I love it, Brett.
Huh?
I love it.
He also roots for ties.
I do.
He's disgusting.
You root for he's a soccer guy.
I love the ties.
You're a soccer guy too, but you're not a sadist that way,
But sometimes nobody deserves to win.
I don't have any Brazilian in me.
Neither does he. He's been lying about that for years. Always a pleasure.
What's the? I should have gotten you the ancestry thing for Christmas.
23andMe.
23andMe. No need.
Well, they're bankrupt now, so you've skated. So they just have everybody's genetic information that did one of those, and Somewhere in the ether,
You
Elon's
need to
probably got it.
Inform my mother of this because she'll be very upset that she has spent weeks taking care of her mother in Brazil all this time when it wasn't even necessary.
Again, she is Brazilian. We have questions about. Brett Kern, always good to see you. We will look forward to seeing you next Monday. And have a
Sounds
happy
good.
New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year.
All right, we'll wrap up the show. Last call for phone calls coming up next. All right, fast one today. Last call for phone calls, if you got them. 615-737-1045. Before we wrap it up for the evening, you've got the Rams and the Falcons tonight for a little bit of Monday Night Football. And we'll see how Los Angeles looks on the road in Atlanta. Looking forward to the college football playoff games coming back this weekend. We'll get into those a little later on. We've got the Music City Bowl tomorrow, which will be carried on our air instead of 3HL. So you can look forward to that. And Vanderbilt's bowl game will be on while we're on tomorrow, yes?
Correct. The ReliaQuest Bowl, Vandy in Iowa, if I'm not mistaken, kicks off at 1 p.m.
Is that in Tampa?
It is in Tampa, the artist formerly known as the Outback Bowl. R.I.P. to the Outback Bowl. Eli Stowers has opted out. He projects as a first-round pick, probably the first tight end off the board. So big blow for Vanderbilt in that regard. Tennessee's had a couple new opt-outs in Joshua Josephs, the edge rusher. He will not play in this game. We already knew about Chris Brazzell and Arion Carter and Colton Hood. So that's 4. Josh Heupel said he does not anticipate any more opt-outs for the Music City Bowl, which makes for an intriguing conversation around left tackle Lance Hurd and what his decision will be. Sounds like he'll play, but will he play next year for Tennessee, or will it be David Sanders playing left tackle? I don't know. That's kind of the big question mark left in terms of Vols players that may or may not leave for the draft.
I did not see Pavia's appearance. It doesn't sound like Robert did either at WWE, but people were talking about it in the press box yesterday.
It was he and a few Vandy football players, I think.
Oh, really? Okay, good. I like that he's including other people in that situation. I feel like he'd be a good professional wrestling character.
Wonder what kind
of a better term.
Free stuff you get for the ReliaQuest Bowl.
It's a good question.
ReliaQuest is a cybersecurity company.
Do you get free protection from identity theft?
Like a free VPN?
That'd be great. Titanomics is next.
What's up, gentlemen? Thanks.
ReliaQuest Bowl is Wednesday, not tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah.
You lied to me, then.
No, I said Wednesday. You lied to everybody.
I think you told me that during the commercial break.
Well, there's no proof of that, thankfully.
What do you got?
Who, me? Oh, yo. Man, thank y'all for taking my call, man. So, a terrible blown lead in the second half, of course. My question is, we do need a coach, but, like, is that it? Like, is that the main thing that lost us the game, not having a culture? Like, a guy to say, we're not losing this damn game. I see them coming back.
No, you lost that game because you don't have any corners left. It's got nothing to do with the coaching.
Okay, that's
he's saying culture.
Not just coaching, but culture. Like,
no, honestly, come on, Hall got cooked out there, and he was still busting his ass. He's just bad.
Yeah, like Kyrie Elam.
Yeah, I mean, there are limitations to what you are capable of doing. Appreciate the call. I mean, culture matters to an extent, yes, but and them saying, yeah, we went into half with the lead and said, yeah, let's finish the game, and then they didn't finish the game because they're bad. They're still a bad football team just because they've been playing better. No pep talk, no halftime adjustments are going to stop you from the fact that Tyler Shuck looked at number 40 in two-tone blue yesterday and said, "You're my boy, Blue. We're going to go for a ride, Chris. You on the outside, just take that guy with you." And we'll see if we can't get a couple on them. And they did. That's just as simple as it was.
And now Trevor Lawrence gets a turn.
Yeah. And with still something on the line. Now, listen, I can say that those things, they do have their place, of course. And I think that Jeffrey Simmons is a critical part of Jeffrey Simmons and Cam Ward and all these guys that are going to be around. Because there is a good percent. Like, it's not like the whole roster's gone next year. Like, there are players, I would argue maybe 30 or more players that are going to be back in some form or fashion next season. So you need these guys to have some kind of semblance of, yeah, we understand what works. We understand what doesn't. We know that we have a certain ceiling here, but it doesn't mean that we can't give full effort. I think that their culture, honestly, under Mike McCoy has been significantly better. They do give effort. There were teams were outwardly questioning them about their level of give-a-bleep for the first 6 weeks of the season because they look so checked out. And that was when it started. For them to be finishing this strong, for them to be playing their best football in December is a credit to everybody involved, even if they're just not good enough to get it done.
I don't know that they ever looked checked out. They were just really bad. I don't know.
Michael Pittman said they came out of the tunnel with no juice, and we said we'll beat them.
Yeah, sure.
Kayshon Boutte said there was lazy secondary play and corner play, so we took advantage of a look that they were being undisciplined on. Like, there were those accusations all over the place.
Yeah, and we've talked about that stuff. Again, things that are easy to say after you run it up on a team.
For sure, but they can also be true.
At no point in the Callahan era did I think they're not trying. It just felt like they weren't improving whatsoever. Like, I don't know that Jeffrey Simmons had the team rally around him any more under McCoy than he did Callahan. They just got better under McCoy.
Jeff, individually, I've never had a question about whether they're good or they're bad. And I don't want to go through the whole roster and be like, this guy tried, this guy didn't. But, like, I don't know. I never felt good about the L'Jarius Sneed experience. And maybe that's an easy thing to say after the fact. But I don't think that's unfounded.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fair. Like, it's fair to have individual criticisms like that. But anyway.
Polls at your convenience.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Which rookie quarterback has had the better season? Cam Ward or Tyler Shuck? 58% are going with Ward over Shuck.
I disagree. I think Tyler Shuck's had a better rookie season, but Cam Ward's been asked to do more. I think both of those things can be true.
What's been the best bowl game so far? Kenneth says Pop-Tarts Bowl. Easy. Not just the spectacle, but the game was actually fun. Did you see they're doing a protein Pop-Tart now?
We've lost the thread with the amount of things that they're saying have protein in them that don't actually have protein in them.
It's so dumb, too, because it's like 400 calories, 10 grams of protein. Like we're just putting it, shoehorning it in wherever we can get it.
It can't be good. Karen says, always Pop-Tarts Bowl on principle. Mr. Donkey says, ECU Pittsburgh in the Military Bowl.
You got that right, baby.
Hey.
You got that right, baby.
Christmas Eve, Hawaii Bowl. I don't know how many of y'all were watching the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve. I turned it off with Cal up 27-0 or whatever it was, and I fatally made that mistake and missed the great Hawaii comeback of Christmas Eve 2025.
Where were you?
Which franchise should have more optimism moving forward? Which fan base? Saints or Titans? 59% say Titans. Are the Saints still in cap hell?
They're not in a great situation, but they have some moves that they can make to free that up.
Yeah.
Like they don't have all the money. They don't have, every available cap dollar like the Titans do, but they can clear some cap. I honestly, I'm going to say the Saints because I think this season is showing them that they have more on the roster to work with than previously thought.
Yeah, I think you're happy with what Kellen Moore has shown, obviously what Tyler Shuck has shown.
Doesn't mean that the Titans can't be better, but if I'm sitting here today looking at the two of them, I'd say, yeah, Saints are in a better situation than the Titans are.
I would agree with you. They only have negative $22 million in cap
Oh my
space next
goodness.
year.
That's the best cap situation that they've had in like 6 years.
It's been a minute.
Just one step closer to the green. Saints have the number 8 pick currently in the draft. Titans
it's
do
to
have
the black, by the way, not to the green.
No, it's
You finish in the black if you finished with sound financials.
you finish in the green,
No, that's incorrect.
but money is green.
Okay.
Which former Titans success hurts fans the most? Malik Willis, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, or Mike Vrabel? 47% say Mike Vrabel.
Oh, really? I would have said AJ.
That is the second most votes. Third most, Derrick, and the fewest votes to Malik Willis.
Really?
I would think Derrick, Titans fans, like, how do you watch Derrick and not enjoy seeing him? I know it's for the Ravens.
It makes me so happy.
Well, I'm not talking to you. It's for the Ravens, and that sucks for Titans fans to see another Titans legend suit up in Baltimore.
I didn't hear
but
you
as
say
a Titans fan,
specifically.
like, how do you not just still get, like, the way it kind of catches your breath when he rounds a corner? And plus, Ravens win, and that fifth turns into a fourth. Draymond Jones has his sacks.
Yeah, I think I like the moment when his eyes get big, when he knows he's got it, when he's got to step on somebody and he starts breaking down the field. I know he's not doing that as much anymore, but still, like, The fact that he's able to go through a game with 4 touchdowns, 216 rushing yards, and a career high in attempts is nuts. He's spectacular.
Those are the polls.
Very good. That's going to do it for us today. Primetime tonight. Then we'll be back with you tomorrow. We'll have Nate Washington early in the week. We'll have Nate. We'll have a Music City Bowl preview. Are you having any Vols guests tomorrow? Anything like that? All right, very good. See you then.